off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business. I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on these chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid. I'm hard as nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid your boy whole weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan. Your time is up, my time is now.
Good evening, everyone. We're back. It's Off the Ropes, episode 46. Seems like it's been a while, Brandon, but we are back.
Yeah, it's been a long while. It's like we didn't even do WrestleMania this year. It's been we just all so busy. But it's fun to be back. I'm glad we decided to do this. There's a lot of good wrestling. The summer used to be the kind of the lull part, and it still has its lull parts. But there's been some really good stuff from all companies lately, and so we'll have plenty to talk about. Things that have happened recently, things that are about to happen. This should be a fun night, and still, a lot coming up that leading into SummerSlam and all in Texas, right in our backyard, pretty much next week. So
yeah, I know y'all were talking about today, talking about getting tickets. Now I was like, man, I'm on vacation. I'm excited to go on vacation. But
when y'all leaving?
Tomorrow night, right after I get off work, we'll hit the road.
Where y'all headed?
We are headed down to New Braunfels, Texas, for the weekend, and then we're gonna go hit up Slitterbond in the beginning of the week, and then exit off and go to the beach at the end of the week. So kind of a week and a half, kind of crammed one trip, like 3 trips, kind of crammed into one. So it'll be a lot of fun. Summer's been super busy for me and my real job. Some of us actually have a real job, Brandon, unlike you that get to go around and cover sports all day long.
No, my summer is not the most glamorous. It's staying at home. We got Thursdays our deadline for our football magazine stuff. So I've been cranking out football preview after football preview after football preview.
I know. I needed that preview to do my polls. I got your polls. My polls in, Brandon. They may be real bad this time.
Well, I know a lot about the teams I've written about, but I got the districts I was assigned this year, like a lot of the more obscure ones. So I know a lot of the teams I normally don't know much about. I know more about them than normal, but some of the really, really good teams, I'm like, oh, what do they have back? So mine's gonna be a little shaky too. So.
Hey, well,
but the thing is,
do it together.
Luckily, there's certain teams you can just count on every year. So
yeah, there's go-to teams, and you're on NetSN. You're like wrestling talk. Yes, we do have wrestling off and on throughout the year. Usually, at least once a month, we try to come on, depending on how how our schedules fall. But our bench got deeper. We'll have a new member of the Off the Ropes team join us tonight. We'll introduce him when he gets on here in a minute. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We do have some shows coming up. Beast from the East will be back on Tuesday nights this fall, and so Brandon will hop on there from time to time when he's available. Of course, KO he'll be here shortly to join us tonight too. Me and him are kind of the anchor of the show. It seemed like last year with me, him, and then whoever else showed up. But we've got some preview shows coming up for football, and so we've got those coming up, and we've got a schedule release and some other things. So if you're looking for that stuff, we are coming with that. But tonight, a lot of wrestling, and it feels like I'm trying to go back and I looked at the last show, Brandon. It was March the last time we had a show, so it's been over 3 months ago. A lot has happened in 3 months. Just from your perspective, what are some big things that's happened since we've been on? Kind of before we get the other guys have time to get on, that you are excited about, or you didn't like, or just things that stuck out to you.
Oh, well, I mean, it's been 3 months, like you said.
There's a lot. I know there's a lot.
But I mean, we had WrestleMania, so that was. But just not even going that far back. I mean, it's just we've had the progress with the Cena stuff, because the last time we talked was coming off of Cena's heel turn. And so, we've had, he's still been doing that, but it's still, he had the match with CM Punk the other day, so that was kind of cool. We're getting all his final matches. He's only had 2 matches since the last time we talked. He had the Mania one, and then since he's won,
Orton,
he's only had 2 matches. So he had the Orton one and then the Punk one.
Oh, R-Truth. Don't discount.
But that wasn't a title defense, but yeah.
Oh well. But there's a lot of that in itself too.
Yeah. Since we last talked, R-Truth got let go and then came back, and
cut his hair.
Yeah, and then in NXT, the last time we talked, Mariah May was because we were at an AEW show with Mariah May was the main event, and now she's in NXT as Blake Monroe. So.
I know it's still weird to me. I mean, I don't get to watch as much NXT. I try to keep up with it. But that's still weird that she's there. I think WWE has done a pretty decent job of, we talked about how loaded the NXT women's division was, and kind of how some of it started popping on and off the main roster. We've got most of those women now have moved over and are kind of filling the card at WWE. You've got, Julia now a champion there. And so, but there's a lot of different things going on, and it's just, there's so much to talk about. And speaking of so much to talk about, I think we have our guest here, our special guest, new addition to the show here. It seems like we start talking. I think we had this kind of started on our rain delayed baseball broadcast. Brandon, you were up there with us. It was me, Kyle, and Jeremy, and we kind of started talking about it, and we kind of like, hey, we need to get this guy in. So I'm gonna give him some. Let's see what kind of. He needs some good intro music. He needs something old school. Something. Oh, I got something. This guy's retired. He doesn't need this intro anymore. Let's go with this.
What's his initials? I was gonna say just give him JD McDonough's.
Yeah, I don't have JD McDonough, but I do have this one. This guy's retired already, so he doesn't. Well, retired. He doesn't need this music. This is kind of an old school jam, as you would say. We'll bring him in. It's one of the guys that does broadcast with me on NSN. It's Mr. Jeremy Diamond. Welcome, Jeremy.
What's up, fellas?
You get your own intro music here, so
man, I feel privileged.
So
I'm glad you didn't go with the JD McDonough. My head is big, but I don't know if it's that big.
What did McAfee said? It was Corey Graves said. He said it's not his fault. He was built with the head of a Minecraft character.
One of the best lines Graves has ever had. I mean, that was pure magic. And then did you see the McDonough clap back?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
So Jeremy, Brandon and I were kind of introing out. It's been so long since we've done a show. We talked. It was March since we've done one. So there's been a lot that's gone on. What are some big things that that's in wrestling for you since the last 2 or 3 months that kind of stick out? Whether it's good, bad, you hated it, you didn't like, you liked it, whatever it was.
Man, it's a good question. I think what's been fun for me is like watching my son get into it. I think it's fun to see like through his eyes, because he's hanging on every second, right? Like he's living the dream. But it's really funny. It's fun to watch him get into it. But I think the interesting thing, I was excited initially about the Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed thing, but I'm confused a little bit about how they've almost made Breaker and Bronson Reed look pretty vulnerable in a way. Like I was expecting them to kind of rampage the roster for a few months before any hint of vulnerability came in. But like watching the tag match last night, I'm like, man, I know you got to put Penta and Sammy in there, but man, it was an interesting kind of way they've done it so far. I don't know. They've kind of made him look hide and seeky a little bit, Seth running, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem as dominant as you thought it would be.
Yeah, but I did like, Seth left, and then they were kind of scatter shooting and panicking in the back, and Paul Heyman dropped the 2 famous words, Plan B.
Yeah.
So now it's like, the Seth was the most famous Plan B about what was it, 11 years ago. So, well, it'd be interesting to see is that a new member, and who could that be? Like, I feel like there's one more coming, and is it male, female, and like who is it, and just kind of where do we go from here? So,
well, speaking of new member, fellas, you got Tala Tonga now. And the new, hey, that's what we're going with. Tala Tonga.
The thing,
well, then you gotta feel bad for Tonga Loa. He got the name in the front, not the back, right? Like everybody else is something Tonga, and then they just screwed his up and went backwards. It's like, what are we doing with this guy?
The thing we gotta do though is we gotta give these people names before they show up.
They don't know what to call them.
Cole's like has no. He said it's
Tom.
It's a brother.
It's really tall.
Yeah. We know him as Hikaleo. It's like, but they're not going to call him that, and so it's like, but you got to tell these people before what we're going to call him.
And the same thing with Jeff Cobb and the JC Mateo.
JC Mateo. They called him Jeff Cobb on air, and then all of a sudden next week his name is JC Mateo. It's and like you got a name change over the weekend.
When Ricky Starks, now Ricky Saints, and Mariah May, now Blake Monroe, when they debuted, they both came on that first night with no name, and then the next week they gave them a name. It's like, why don't we give them their name when they come in? But
and I think you could do that if you keep a hood on them, right? Like have them interfere, have them jump in, and just leave them hooded for a week, and then that gives you time to be like, who's this mysterious character? And then all of a sudden, like you can do the backstage reveal thing, and like all of a sudden there's this hulking bruiser in the background, that. I don't know. Yeah, it seems an interesting, like, almost like this side's not talking to this side when it comes to that kind of stuff at times.
Yeah, it's interesting. You think all the planning that they have, they would be able to go ahead and plan the name out. You don't have to plan everything else. At least, have some kind of name for them.
You can't really just sneak someone to Saudi Arabia. So
yeah. Well, so what do you think?
Especially when they're 7 foot tall.
Are we going to a bloodline versus bloodline war games maybe with this? You got Zilla Fatu messaged out, so maybe he joins the other group with you got Jimmy and Jay. I don't know. It's interesting what they can do with this now. Maybe Fatu leads one side versus Solo.
Yeah, I could see something like that. And I think we might have some kind of war games with Seth and them's group too. So and I still wish War Games is its own entity. I wish they'd go back to traditional Survivor Series for I like Survivor Series, and I hate that it's mixed in with War Games. No, we don't get I like the old Survivor Series matches. So I want to have both.
You mean you want the Survivor Series where it's the battle of the brands? You got the blue brand versus the red brand.
I'm talking further back.
It doesn't matter because no one cares about the matches.
I'm talking like early 90s, like what Survivor Series was built on. Were not only were there storylines, but I just like the style of match that too. Like the elimination, because like if War Games was elimination, it'd be a little different. But it's not. It's just that one pinfall, and it doesn't. All this stuff happens. It's cool, but it doesn't start for the official match. Doesn't even start for 30 minutes. So
yeah. Well, I think too. Like I was even thinking about like King of the Ring. Like, I know they got to go through it pretty quick because they're going from one pay-per-view to the other, but I wish sometimes they would overlap a pay-per-view. Like, I wish it would start before that.
Well, you get
fatal four-ways are annoying.
Yeah, let's just fatal four-way it so that way this guy doesn't take a pin. This guy doesn't take a pin. You know who's going to take the pin usually out of the four. Oh, it's going to be this guy.
Right.
And so, I agree with you on that. Like, they rush it where you could have this big tournament with, 2 or 3 rounds before you get to the finals.
Well, and they used to do it, and it used to be all on that pay-per-view was just like there might be a title match in there too, but it was just they didn't do Queen of the Ring then, but it was just King of the Ring matches. Like you had the whoever won had to win 3 matches in one night.
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels rushed. And I think some of those guys that don't get a lot of time, that's a way to get a Karrion Kross some extra time, right? Throw him in a singles match. Even if he gets beat, at least he's got some time, right? Some of those young guys from NXT, you could bring in some guys like that and you could get some more matches in that you don't need to take 20 minutes to do. You can get a 5-minute, 7-minute match and, and you can spread them out over a few weeks and really kind of get some bang for your buck.
Yeah, I do think that's rushed. And they do it's not the climate. What's AEW's version? They have one. It's where they have the
Is it the Owen Hart one?
They have the pools and they have the different
Continental Clash.
Yeah, and they it's
Continental Classic.
Yeah, they have it. Yeah, they have it spread out over like months, and they do the matches and they beat each other. And
but their actual equivalent is probably the Owen Hart.
Yeah. Well, and at least they've got. I like that though because it's they don't try to jam it all into 2 weeks and then you. I just don't. I'm not a fan of jamming it up in that.
Well, I thought it was interesting too that you have buddy in the semifinals of your King of the Ring, both sides. Like there's no heel.
I thought that guy was injured. Wait. Oh, okay. So his nephew stole his music. That's what it was. We got KO Kyle Owens, the Big Goose. Welcome, sir.
I thought about if I didn't think about the entrance music, I should have worn my KO shirt. But with it being football season coming right around the corner, I had to make sure that everybody still knows who the reigning and defending undisputed world champion is.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Shout out Paul Heyman.
I did this since they were in Pittsburgh yesterday.
all these terrible teams. We live in Texas, guys.
And they got McAfee's boy Rogers. So.
We got we live in Texas and we got 3 fans of other teams.
I'm sorry that Texas teams don't win. All right, I hate it for you.
Well, hey, it's okay. The Mavericks won. They got Cooper Flag. I'm happy. So
hopefully it works out for you.
Yeah. Well,
it'll be interesting. People are already throwing them as the number 2 seed. Like they're already the biggest threat to win the West against Oklahoma City.
I mean, they are that the roster's good. They have to stay healthy though. That's the asterisk by there. It did say that healthy team. You got 2 or 3 guys that tend to get their big toe sprained and they're out for.
Yeah, that sideline's got to be the most nervous guy in that entire organization. The team doctor and the trainers, they've got to be just sitting on pins and needles.
All right, Kyle, we'll let you get a chance. We were kind of we discussed that it's been March since we've been on. It's been a while. We had a little hiatus from the show. And hopefully we'll be able to do this a little more getting forward here, getting in the groove of doing shows. But from March to June, what are some big moments, good, bad, ugly, great, that in wrestling that we've kind of missed over the last few months that stuck out to you?
Hello.
Oh, there you go.
There's moments that really stuck out to me specifically, but just in general, I think it's too much. I think we got too much wrestling going on right now. Like I'm kind of feeling burnt out on both companies, AEW more so than WWE, but I feel like there's not a lot that's really just captivating. There's not like that bloodline story that we wanted to watch every single week and find out what's going on. Like to me in WWE, it feels like we got the same people just kind of feuding and just kind of recycling feuds and recycling storylines. Like I'm sure we'll get into it, but like the Roxanne and Liv thing, like Liv goes out, Rhea went out and Liv kind of took that spot and ascended. And now Liv goes out and it kind of looks like Roxanne's going to do that same thing and do the same story. And then you got the same thing with Sheamus and Rusev, 2 big meaty men slapping meat. The same thing that Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman did. Like it's kind of recycled storylines. So it kind of feels like to me, the creativity is down on both. I'm not even going to get into AEW. I'm sick of AEW, but WWE specifically, like I just feel like there's more. They have the talent. Same thing with AEW. I just feel like both companies are kind of just going through the motions. And when you look at WWE specifically too, it seems like there's a pay-per-view every other week. Like it's just so much. And how can you really develop storylines and get real stories going when you blow them off or have a payoff at every pay-per-view and you got one every 2 weeks? It's just, I don't know. There seems like there's a lot of wrestling right now, but there is some good. It's not all bad. I just think in general, overall, there's just too much going on.
Well, it's like next Saturday, or next Saturday, Sunday, that weekend, there's going to be 4 events in a 2-day span, 3 on Saturday and then one on Sundays. That's going to be a lot of wrestling 2 days. Like I'll be at one of them live and then I'll have to get back and start catching up because there's one happening at the same time and then there's another one that night and then there's another one Sunday night.
Well, that's WWE's fault. That's WWE just being petty and wanting to try to take AEW shine on All In. Like, if these companies if WWE, because it's WWE that's doing it, because they're trying to big brother AEW at every chance, even though they said they're not competition. But just let them have the weekend. If they're not competition, then don't worry about it. Let them have All In. Why do you have to overload with 3 shows to try and outdo AEW? Just let them have the weekend. You got all this other stuff. It's just the pettiness levels are just ridiculous.
Yeah. One thing I do like, though, I do like the idea of the Saturday night main event. Like, I feel like it's old school. Like, it brings me back to the days when I used to sit with my dad in the recliner on, and watch, you know what I mean? And so I like the feel of it. And I thought Jesse Ventura was really phenomenal as like the heel announcer. You know what I mean? That's like he's totally rooting for the heel and making the heel seem like he's the good guy. You know what I mean? And so I think it's dumb to steal the weekend. I like the idea of main event. It'll be interesting to see if either one of Goldberg's knees hold out for more than about 2.5 minutes on Saturday. But
Hey,
over under 5 minutes on the match.
I'm going to say it's going to go over. I think Gunther's going to try to draw it out to make it look like he's dominant, but I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Do we count the entrance?
No, entrances don't count.
I mean, I'm gonna say I think I don't know who I was talking to. Who it was? They've been Jeremy actually last night. Coach Hubbard. I was meeting with him last night to talk some business stuff, and we were talking about it a little bit. I think he went to the baseball game tonight. Or he's supposed to, so that's where he is. But I think Goldberg wins. I think he comes out and Gunther has been laughing. Here's my thing. He's been laughing at him. I know Kyle's gonna turn it off. He didn't let me finish where I was going with it. He's been laughing off Goldberg. He hadn't been taking him serious. Yeah. I think Goldberg comes out and just steamrolls him like in that first few minutes and beats him. He goes off. Gunther just got married. He goes off and takes a break. Seth Rollins comes out, cashes in, and Goldberg goes out on top. He retires. Now Seth's the champion.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah, that's.
I mean,
dude, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like, why would you give it to Gunther just to take it off of him in a couple of weeks to Goldberg, who's 58 years old and can't stand straight
for like 2 minutes, and then he gets bumped out, and Seth Rollins takes it right back.
And the other thing I think that Goldberg has going for him is it's his hometown, right? Like, it's his hometown final match, and they said, Michael Cole made that line, like, what happens if you win it? And he said, won't that be interesting? And that was kind of the line he threw out to, like, Michael Cole. He didn't deny, you know what I mean? He didn't say, like, this is my final match no matter what. Like, I thought it was an interesting, like, it seemed like a throwaway line, but, like, the more I think about it, there might be something to it.
So here's my theory behind why he got it. Because if this was Jey Uso, it wouldn't work the same way. Right? Because Goldberg's always going to be a face. He's his favorite. It wouldn't work with him. So gives it back to Gunther. He just laughs it off. He doesn't think Goldberg's any good. He has been. He's been like, he smirked at him. He couldn't really take him seriously. He just comes out and smacks him in the face, beats him, and Gunther takes his tail and goes off and takes him. I just thought they got married, so I thought that'd be a good time.
You could do Gunther goes back to the lab and he's got to get back in the, you know what I mean? Like almost that, like where they do that thing where he goes back
with Jey
between the ears.
Did it when
right. Something's wrong between the ears. Gunther's got to go back and refocus.
Not for Goldberg to just get a little shine in Atlanta. This man had 159-0 streak.
173. Yeah,
whatever. It's ridiculous. My point.
And who's taking the title off of Gunther? Grande Americano.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
And then Kaiser's going to rip the mask off and be like, you didn't treat me well. This is what happened.
I like that better than Goldberg.
Dude, I honestly, though, if we're going to, like, I know there's some great entrances, but that Goldberg entrance, like back in the day, like full of sparks, dude. I mean, the smoke coming out of his face. Like, he's breathing the smoke out. Like,
when he was in his prime, and that's when I was watching wrestling back then, and I stopped for a while. When he was in his prime, Goldberg was my favorite wrestler. I loved Goldberg. I'm older now, as is he, and I realize he can't really wrestle. He's got a couple of moves, and he's 58 years old and he's admitted my shoulders ain't good, my knees ain't good. Then why the hell are you getting in the ring? Just stay out. Like, if all that's bad, and then you're putting him up against literally one of the best wrestlers in the world in Gunther, which will make it a decent match because Gunther doesn't have bad matches. But it's just I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
Hey, if Nature Boy can still get a match here or there,
Good
then
God.
why not 58-year-old Goldberg? At least Goldberg
That's not the
smiles a body that
comparison
looks
you
like
want,
he's in
Jeremy.
shape.
Yeah, but, last night they were showing his like package, like when he was dominating the WCW stuff, and so I was telling my wife that I was like, it was an event every Monday night to see Goldberg come in, and and that was you had both, you had Raw and Nitro, and we didn't have DVRs and streaming, and so we had to flip back and
It was
forth.
like, doop, doop. Hope they went commercial at different
So you're
times.
like,
right?
oh, I don't want to miss Goldberg though, so you got to keep going because like Goldberg was the event, no matter, especially even early on when he was facing jobber after jobber, like it was an event ever. You go in the neighborhood and the dads and their kids and they would ask you like, oh, who's Goldberg going to beat tonight? Like it was an event every Monday night, and so it's kind of like you said, it's kind of sad to see where he is now, but we always knew we were going to get Goldberg and Gunther because they set it up at an event, last year. So we knew we were getting this. I don't think they needed it for the title. That's the thing. I would have just left it on Jay and then had this match non-title. But I guess, hey, it's the reward to Goldberg. So which kind of makes what Brett said make sense that, hey, not only rewarding you with a top match, you may win that title one more time.
And it is technically the world title, which was the one that Goldberg carried originally. That was his title. Now that it's obviously changed now, it's not the same one that came from WCW, but that was the one he carried, and that was his belt. So it all kind of makes sense. I mean, to Kayla's point, it doesn't, but storyline wise, you have to remember how they're trying to write this out. And it would make sense now. You give him that. He doesn't need a title run, but so you just use the briefcase and to get it off of him,
And that's what terrifies me is because it does make sense. And so I get it, but I don't want to see it. Like in a perfect world, Goldberg would do like a lot of other wrestlers have done. Go in your final match and you're looking up at the lights. You're done. That's it. You're done. But no, I get the story. I get it. It would feed into. I get it. I just don't want to see it. I don't. I just want to see if this is what they want to do. Have his retirement match. He's done a lot. I get it. He's a big figure in wrestling. Like to Brandon's point, it's a spectacle. He was an event every single Monday night. Have his moment. That doesn't mean he has to win another championship at 58 years old. Even if it's for 2 minutes, I don't want to see it.
Another thing I'd kind of like is they did is so Seth cashes in the middle of the match, makes a triple threat, but
then they can pin Goldberg. Then
still pin Gunther, but Seth pins Gunther, so Goldberg spears Gunther. Seth comes out to cash in, and Braun spears Goldberg, takes him out, and then Seth stomps and pins Gunther. And then that way, when Gunther does come back, then you got the story of Seth against Gunther also, and you could actually have that one-on-one title match.
I like that a lot better.
Seth has a match that night, right, against LA Knight now.
Oh yeah.
They added that match. So that makes, not that couldn't happen anyway, but it just makes you wonder.
Oh, so they are facing that Saturday Night main event?
Yeah, it's that main event. They just announced it. So yeah, they did the whole kind of the end of it was toward the end of Raw whenever LA Knight kind of bumped into
their face. I just didn't see what day.
Yeah, LA Knight was like, I got him Saturday night. After that, you can have kind of whatever I've left behind, whatever scraps I've left behind, kind of deal. But yeah, Goldberg was one of my I think just that music, even today, so I went back and got to show my son the highlights. But I didn't know they were going to do a package Monday, so we sat down and pulled it up on the computer, and he was like, "Whoa!"
What was that? And there was that whole UFC type entrance too, where coming from the locker room with the security guards, and
it was awesome.
It was the first there was nobody else with that kind of entrance. The whole thing, he just held the door and stuff. He'd come out
electric,
bleeding sometimes with it, man. But I don't know.
Ron Goldberg was awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll see how it turns out. But that's the thing too with that match. For it being a match that necessarily doesn't mean a whole lot. There's a whole lot of ways it can go. So look, we got our first chat of the night, Phyllis. Let's see. Oh, it must be Larry. I think he's on WSP Production Practice. Hey, he loves Goldberg too. All right, that's welcome, Larry.
I loved Prime Goldberg. I don't love this Goldberg. I liked Goldberg. I don't like Bill. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Gunther did cook him a little bit last night.
Yes.
Yeah. It's always that. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Like it, but it seems like Gunther has all the momentum walking into Saturday, right? Like, and usually that. I mean, not always, but a lot of times that doesn't go well. If there hasn't been any kind of you haven't seen Goldberg come and smash him or something, prior to Saturday night, it makes you wonder a little bit. If he doesn't show up on Raw Monday night, it might be Kyle's nightmare become reality.
Uh-oh. There you go. Well, so let's talk about this Night of Champions here. All right, so we have, which something I hadn't realized that Rhodes and Orton, I feel like they've crossed paths so much, but they haven't fought since the return, Cody Rhodes' return this time. So to me, have done a great job of, even with their story intertwining, they've done a great job of not having them wrestle each other. In the 3 years that he's been back. So I enjoyed this match. I think there's some really interesting stories coming out of these two guys individually. We had the turnbuckle removal by Orton, and it backfired. Cody used the turnbuckle. I think it's a matter of time if one of these guys or maybe both turn heel. I think I don't know who's going to be first. Maybe we see when. Now I didn't watch all of Raw last night. I will say in preference. I don't know if anything. Y'all might know some more about that.
Wasn't nothing for either of those because they're both on SmackDown.
That's
so
true.
There's nothing there. But
I don't know who's on what show.
I did like Raw last night though. It was at 5 o'clock.
Do we have really a split? Because I don't ever know who's on what show. I get all that confused because it seemed like Cena's on one show one week and he's on the other one another week, and then these guys come over and they so.
Well, I saw people complain today that R-Truth wasn't on Raw. So I was like, y'all did all this stuff. I was like, well, he's not on Raw. He's on SmackDown. Like, yeah, he wasn't there last night.
Yeah, I'll be glad when that's the one thing about having them split like this. When they had the draft, at least you could refocus on, okay, this person's over here.
Well, they're doing the draft after SummerSlam this year.
Yeah, which that's fine. It's just that for now it's all shuffled and mumbled.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
I can't tell who's on what brand.
Well, I mean, like four or five people changed after the draft, even though they'd been drafted. It was like, oh, just kidding, we screwed that up. We should have put,
or they're a free agent.
Yeah.
Oh, we got another chat here. Colton Sneed says, "Long time no see." Okay,
the chop.
Yeah, we've been gone for a little. We wanted to kind of go away, and so when we come back, they're wanting some off the road.
I thought, looking back at the match with those two guys, I really thought Randy was going to get the win. I was expecting Randy to get the win and then be the guy that dethrones Cena. I know that Cody's the big baby face, and I know that he's the guy, he's the quarterback, but I think that's a good way to get Randy another belt and then take it off the guy that's the greatest and get Randy just that much closer to that number.
Yeah, well,
but I thought if you're going to look at it from an outside perspective, I thought it would have been a better storyline to have Randy get it. But I guess you could also it'd be easier now to get the Randy heel turn out of this thing than it would have been if he had won it. But
well, here's what I said in our group chat before. I said Cody was going to win, and I'm expecting the Cody heel turn, but I didn't know if it was going to come the other night, in which it didn't, or if it's going to come at SummerSlam. Now he faces Cena. I think he turns heel, and then Cena. Then you got Cena, babyface Cena, then chasing him for his final run, and then like his final match is a face Cena against a heel Cody. But I think that the Cody heel turn's coming. I think at SummerSlam.
And the last real champion goes out on top. Oh.
See, and I think somebody's going to spoil that. Like, I think that's the turn, is that he's going to try to walk out as the last real champion, and maybe Seth saves the cash in for that, but somebody's going to take that from happening, because there's no way they're going to let that happen, right? I mean, unless you're going to retire a belt that you don't want anymore, but I just can't see that being a storyline they run with, because nobody's going to want to be the next guy that's like not the real like the interim tag where whoever's holding the belt waiting on John Jones to come back. Nobody wants.
I would love to see that, because it's really never officially happened. I know that's the lineage belt though. It's got all the stuff attached to it, even though it's the universal. It's still got the WWE title, those merged, and so I don't think they would let that happen just because of all of the people that have held it. I think it would be cool, and then they like maybe they bring out a new belt that's different that would kind of give them a way to change up the belt because they've had that same style for a while. But I don't think so. But there's just so many ways it can happen. But I do think I like your theory, Jeremy. I like the Orton thing. I think that would have been cool. I just feel like it's too much predictable that Cody goes back and he wins his title back. I think though that it could be that heel turn is good. I think does The Rock come back out and now he takes The Rock's offer?
Don't even bring up The Rock.
Yeah, come on. I mean,
don't even bring up The Rock.
He's great entertainment.
He just ruins plans. He shows up, ruins plans, and then goes away. Just don't even bring up The Rock.
Huh? This guy? Come on, Kyle. Come on.
The only problem too with Cody is because I think now I heard he's going to be in Street Fighter with Roman too, and Roman's supposed to be leaving right after SummerSlam to do that. So maybe Cody is too. I don't know.
Okay, so Larry's got a good one, guys. We need an all-out NetSN battle royal.
As long as it starts with Diggs and Hubbard.
Oh God!
They're number 1 and 2.
We gotta have a barbed wire fire-lit tables in there too, so we can see that.
We can keep it a little bit more civilized. I've got 2K25 at the house. We can all pick our best guy and go head to head, and then no blood has to be spilled.
I got KO, so I'm taking Uncle Kevin. Listen, I'm not even speaking on The Rock. I hope The Rock stays away. I love The Rock. Hope he stays away. The Cody and Randy match, though, at Night of Champions was really good. The crowd was electric. I think that was the best way to start off that show is to get everybody into it.
Entrances were fire.
Yeah.
The stage was fire. That was I wish they had a stage like that for every show.
It made it look so huge. I know the stage was still
it made them when they were walking out, they looked so tiny compared to the screen. But I thought the match was great. The storytelling throughout the match was phenomenal. It was slow, but that's a Randy Orton match. Like Randy Orton worked slow. I think Cody had to slow down a lot to work that pace with Randy, but it worked out well. I think Cody, to your point, Brandon, Cody did show some heel tendencies in that match a couple of times where we haven't seen in the past, where Randy started favoring his back, Cody immediately, started working the back around the post and focusing on that. We haven't seen Cody really do that before. And then, like you said, Brett, when Randy's out here just blatantly trying to get disqualified, tearing stuff off.
Where was the referee there? I just want to know.
I'm putting them in the Rock category. I don't want to talk about the refs. Charles Robinson, though, shout out. That's all I'm going to say.
Dude, that guy got trucked.
Did anybody see the meme of him still laid out and the stands are empty?
Yes. And there's trash all around him and he's just laying there.
That is awesome. But the overall, but then at the end, like you said, Cody took advantage of the exposed turnbuckle and used it to his advantage to win. So those are heel tendencies that we haven't really seen Cody use. But the reason it's not going to be Cody turning next and Randy's turning, that look that Randy gave Cody when Byron was interviewing Cody in the middle of the ring and Cody was trying to give his flowers to Randy, and the look of disgust that was on Randy's face. He's turning. I don't know when, but he is going to snap an RKO on Cody out of nowhere.
I thought we were about to get it right there. Like I think it's going to turn around and.
Yeah, I did too.
I was expecting the Randy slide, under the ring and pop up and boom.
It's coming. It's coming. But I don't think Cody turns just yet. I think my prediction, we're getting Cody and Cena too. Like that's happening at SummerSlam. We're getting Cody and Cena too. I think Cody wins the title there. I think he does take it from Cena and he gets it back. And then on that heel, maybe that's the night that Randy turns heel. Maybe Randy helps Cody win it against Cena, knocks that out of the way, and then RKO's Cody right there and goes after Cody to get it because he's just sick of Cody always being on top. And that's how Randy gets his title from Cody. I think Randy takes it from Cody at some point. I don't know when, but I think Cody's going to take it from Cena at SummerSlam, and then we get Randy and Cody after that.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I think y'all said, but that was a great match to open the card. I mean, it really was. I mean, you knew what you were closing with. But that was a great one to open. I think they did a good job. Now, the next match was the street fight KO.
I don't have the same qualms that Brandon has with this, but
I
for me,
enjoyed the match.
This was my match of the night. I understand your qualms of the street fight thing, but I'll when we get into it, I'll explain my reasoning on why.
I just don't want to call it a street fight. Like,
but it's not a falls count anywhere, so it needs to end in the ring.
It should be no disqualification. Yeah. Well, street fight should be. It should, but
street fight. I think they're all over the arena. Like,
yeah, they used to actually go, and especially what they call it, the something boulevard or whatever. Like, you actually should go out there.
Go in the street. Go. Yeah. I mean, it was basically a no DQ match, is what it turned out to be.
Yeah, that's all these matches are. Like a triple threat.
Call it that.
It's you can't. You got to be creative. You can't
call it no holds barred.
Now you want to just plain. All right, we got no DQ match here. No DQ match.
No holds barred.
No DQ match here. Well,
do what you want.
The street fight is a no DQ. Like, it's the same thing.
Street fight should happen in the street.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's fair.
And it's like a boiler room brawl. It definitely shouldn't be in the ring most of the time.
Well, and we had the still continuing the Judgment Day storyline, which has continued to kind of, if you'd have told me how many years is Judgment Day? It's been 3 years maybe. So if you'd have told me their storyline would still be relevant and I still cared about it that many years later with the people that were in it, I'd have probably told you were lying. Like, they have done at times it's gotten stale, but it seems like when you just think the Judgment Day is about to be done, like Roxanne Perez has added a whole new element. Now I know it's kind of repeat-ish, and whatever, but it's just, it's just Dirty Dom. It's his character. Like, he's that guy that just latches on to the next up and coming female, and he's gonna, ride her coattails.
The problem is though, they can't find another wrestler any smaller than Perez. Because it went Ripley to Morgan to Perez. Like, what's the next? I mean, there's not anybody on the roster any
Hornswoggle.
They can bring some like. You have to bring Hornswoggle back. You gotta go.
But I mean, I'm interested right now. I mean, we'll see if they do anything. I mean, right now it's been the same, but she came out, she helped. Now she's got Rodriguez. She's trying to earn her favor, right? She's trying to.
They're the champs.
Yeah. Did they officially give her the belt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that happen on Raw? Because I didn't see
it. They voted her in.
Yeah, and she's officially a member of the Judgment Day, and Finn's reaction
unanimously.
Finn's reaction was golden.
I saw.
Tom was like,
Liv's gonna love this.
Did they win the tag titles on Raw as well?
No, they were already the tag champ. Like Raquel and Liv were.
No. Balor and JD.
Yeah.
Because they all had titles. I didn't know if that was a real picture or not.
That was the first match of Raw.
Was it? Maybe I must not have been paying attention real well because I didn't.
They beat the New Day, yeah.
So he was like,
no one cares about the New Day.
That's
why you didn't know.
All I cared about was how terrible.
I was shocked by that result. Actually,
that thing was awful. that was the worst. Whatever that was on his face.
Their entrance music was garbage too. People, these changing these entrance musics.
That's Rebel, man.
Worse.
That's something I did notice. Judgment Day came out to a different music.
I didn't know who it was. Yeah, that's not the one, but yeah, I didn't know who, when that music hit. I looked at my mom and dad. I said, "Who is this?" And then I saw the little Judgment Day established 2022.
I didn't hate it. I just don't know why we keep changing them over and over.
Def Rebel ones are terrible. We bring $5 and Jim Johnson back.
My gosh. Zelina, I swear to you, Zelina's theme song is the Friday Night SmackDown song. It's the same song. I swear to you.
We're not on this match yet, but it'll be the next match. But I'm glad they gave Cross his NXT entrance at Night of Champions.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was so awesome.
Well, yeah, no, I think too, like the street fight. I like the ending with the Riptide. I just wish she had Riptided her through the table.
But it was kind of sick off the table.
Full of balance, right? Like
that terrified me.
Oh man, I was like, this thing's gonna flip off.
There. I don't know how it stayed there.
Well, the ref was holding it.
Well, that does help. Yes.
Well, yeah.
No, but I thought they were going to stand on it, and then I thought she was going to step back to the turnbuckle and then dump her through the table.
Yeah,
That was
I
still
agree.
sweet.
I think we're doing a street fight. It needs to be the table needs to be part of the ending. Like, yeah, it I don't know. Maybe
I,
use
but I'll give them kudos. How many table spots have we seen? That was a new one. I've never seen a table up in the corner like that and both women on top of it. That was
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Yeah.
shout out to the table.
And not small. I mean, they
glad
went tall.
nobody was injured in that.
Yeah. I was when I was watching, I said, "Oh, this is not going to end well." But it did. But that was my match of the night, in my opinion. I think just because those two women, and they mentioned it on commentary, and I think I bring this up every time we talk about Rhea and Raquel. But that last woman standing match in 2021 on NXT between those two women is probably I can't think off the top of my head of any other matches, but that's probably my favorite women's NXT match of all time. Like it was a phenomenal match. And then
I'd say that and that Sasha Bailey one in Brooklyn.
Bailey,
yeah. Sasha Bailey in Brooklyn is those two. Rhea and Raquel to me is my number one, but Sasha and Bailey easily number
I'd say
two.
1A, 1B in either order. I don't really. I'd have to go back and watch them. I'd have to go back and watch them to rank them. I just say those are the two
for sure. And so I knew what they were going to do Saturday was going to be good, but Rhea brings out the best in Raquel. Like she has these other matches and Raquel looks clunky. She doesn't look good, but in the ring with Rhea, she looks like a 5-star talent. Like they bring out the best in each other. I loved it. It was physical. I got terrified for Rhea thinking she was going to get another concussion. But it was a great match. It really brought the intensity and I enjoyed every second of the match.
Other than the 3-minute trying to get the belt out of the pants.
Well, there's that.
But man, once she got that belt going, I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to be serious belts.
When she started taking that off, I said, Rhea, we're in Saudi. Now you can't, what are you doing here? We can't be taking off clothing. But then when she turned around and used it, she was wearing Raquel out with that belt. And it's probably best that they had those full suits on, because we couldn't see the welts that were probably underneath all that, because they were welted up.
It looked like Raquel had that like kind of rib guard kind of thing on.
Yeah.
I think that probably helped save a few of those, because some of those shots I was like, oh man. That one time I think she caught her clean on the backside, because there was a whole other sound that came out of Raquel different from every other shot. I think she caught her pretty clean on one of them.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
So like me when I was a little kid, my dad was coming after me, and he got you one before you could get away.
Well, this next match, I'm happy for Karrion Kross, honestly, guys. He's done some really good work in the back. His character has been very interesting. I've been interested to see, like who is he going to influence next? Who is he going to turn to the dark side next? And again, you mentioned it already there, Brandon, about the entrance. They brought back his NXT entrance, which was cool. I always liked that entrance in NXT, and it made his character that much bigger. Like it made you feel like he's legit. He should be there. Like he's there. Of course, Sami Zayn's going to have a good match with anybody, really. So I thought this was a really good match. There was some storyline there. You kind of figured Sami was going to win. I mean, he's not from there, but he's kind of like I guess from there. He's not from there, but he's from there, I guess. From the Middle East.
He was wearing the Palestine flag.
Yeah, I don't know if it's either he was born over there or something. He's got some family ties to the Middle East area, so kind of figured he was going to win. He got a huge pop. I mean, he was, he's on fire most places anyway, but he had a big reaction, and you get that. Well, we'll see where they go from here with Karrion Kross. He's talked to AJ Styles a little bit. Of course, AJ's been he's been getting avoided by Dom. Dom keeps getting injured. He's on the injured list, because I think he must have stumped his toe as well.
Those injuries are growing, man. But like Dom's is more storyline, but like with Liv and Gable, and there's a lot of injuries lately. KO. I mean,
I'm good, thanks. But the so a quick Google search: Sami is Canadian with Syrian immigrant parents.
That's
right.
What
So
it is. Okay,
that's
so
why,
because
he said he used to not go to these shows
because of the Syria and Saudi conflict.
And so now he goes and I think it's 6 months away, but I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that he'll win the Rumble
for sure.
Yeah.
Easiest. We can go ahead and what's July 1st? We can go ahead and book that. Sammy's
Can
winning
you?
the Rumble.
How much money are you gonna place? You got your bet ready to go on that one, Brandon?
I'll
Yeah.
give my apartment up for that. Nah,
I mean,
he's
it's probably,
winning the
it's probably
Rumble.
gonna be like minus 30,000 though. So it's probably gonna be the same odds as Cooper Flag getting drafted by the Mavericks.
Oh, well, I don't know
Yeah.
that.
So I'm sure y'all have seen it, but the whole cross theory with the hairstyle and the guy he's working with, that's like those little subtle things. I didn't pick up on it until he got to the Sammy where it was like half up, half down. You know, like I think it's a pretty cool, like just a subtle thing they've done with carrying over time, and it allows them at some point to circle back to a lot of those guys, right? Like he can, you know, and I thought it was funny too. They gave him some hard time about not taking back bumps, and they showed videos, and you know, you had one half the people going, see, he takes back bumps, and then the other half going, see, look, we made him take a back bump because we said he doesn't, you know. But I thought it was, I think he's got an interesting character in the TikTok, like how long is it going to take you to reveal your true colors kind of thing. And, you know, it's an interesting psycho kind of more subtle than Wyatt Six kind of thing with the, you know, creepiness factor. But
I like Karrion Kross a lot, and I was a big fan of him in NXT. But for a casual viewer, he's a hard watch. Like if you're just a casual fan, just saying turning on WWE and watching, and a Karrion Kross match comes on, you're probably not going to enjoy it. Like, and he's a character. He's more story. He's embedded in story, which is why I love him so much. But it doesn't always translate well in the ring. And that's not to say he's a bad worker. I think he's a fine worker in the ring, but his style is very slow, like Randy Orton. There's not a lot of big moves to him. It's just kind of methodical, and it's not bad, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. And so I think Triple H just kind of hurt him a little bit too, just having him in these backstage segments and not doing anything. There was months he would always be in somebody's ear in the backstage, and he never wrestled. Yeah. Like if you're going to feature him on TV, put him in the ring so we can see him work, so we can see him do all this stuff. That's part of the problem with the Wyatt Six. Their lore is kind of worn off because they're never in the ring. They're never wrestling. Like we have to see you work. So I think creative and WWE have screwed Karrion Kross more than Karrion. Karrion cut a hell of a promo after Mania, and they did nothing with it. Absolutely kept him off TV or just in backstage segments. Like if you can't capitalize on that when the fans were cheering for him and wanting him, and you still don't put him out there, that's on you. And so Karrion and Scarlett, they've been putting, you know, cryptic messages on social media. I don't know what's going on, but I think I was happy to see him get some light shown on him on a big stage. I don't know if people care enough. Like, and it's not us. Exactly. See, me and Colton talked about this at work the other day, but they have people care. Yep. The people care, but you don't showcase him enough. So it's like the fans are telling you we want more Karrion Kross, and Triple H Creative is like, no, we just can't find a spot for him. We'll find a spot.
And it's interesting because they've done that with Jey Uso, right? Like they've noticed that the fans love the entrance, and they're like, I mean, at points I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you know, my son's loving the yeet, like he's yeeting all over the couch, you know, and having a great time. But I'm like, after the third set of yeets, you know, it's like, all right, it's time, you know, but they've listened to the fans. And I think one thing they could have done easily, even if you don't want to give him a match in the ring, let him blindside somebody on the backstage. Like let him take somebody out. Like once a week, he's taking out a different wrestler. Right? All of a sudden you're cutting a promo, and, you know, like they do half the time anyway, and they go running over to figure out why someone's half dead, you know, or, you know, have him take somebody out of his anger. Like, you're not going to give me a spot. I'm going to take out 5 guys. So you have no choice to put me in a match, you know, kind of thing. And I think they could have run with that and made it just as effective if you're not going to give him a match, but I thought he did well. I thought it looked good. And I think the other thing he suffers from is he doesn't play to the crowd in the match. Right, like he really doesn't. He'll play to the psyche of the wrestler, right? He's yapping at Sami Zayn, and he's getting a little heat for it, but he's not that guy that, like, he doesn't do the thing where everybody knows this move is coming, right? Like he doesn't have that thing where you go, oh man, he's about to do the blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'd like to see him with a group they tried that, but they just didn't put him with the right guys.
Yeah.
Like Akam, Rizar, those guys have no character at all. Like they had some cool moves, and I liked them in NXT, but that just didn't work. I think he needs the right guys. I'd like to see him talk up somebody, and they finally just cave and give in, and they like follow him. Like
what about an Austin Theory with Cross?
Theory and Waller, are they doing anything now? Like they just
I think they're
split them up. Yeah,
they did.
I think they did a quiet split.
Yeah,
it was like one of those where Waller's also
whole
chasing the tail of the New Day. Like
They had
he's
the
running
whole
after them
build.
like a little puppy. Like you guys are amazing.
I really thought Grayson. This is why I didn't think New Day was going to lose Monday night, because I thought Waller was going to come out and help New Day because he's been hanging around with them, and then I thought Theory was going to come out to help Judgment Day with Waller, and I thought we were going to get like a whole 6-man tag thing, but that didn't happen. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Waller and Theory, but I just thought about that. Like Theory's got kind of that. He could be a bad guy, right? Like Theory could be a heel.
That's what he was.
And, right. And he doesn't have to talk because Karrion can talk. Although Theory can cut a promo, but
I think Karrion needs somebody with him that's got a character that he can convince to join him, but can also talk and is not just a dead weight behind him.
Well, Theory's got charisma, so we know
Right.
Theory can bring something to it where Karrion kind of lacks. I think that's not a bad pairing.
I think Ellering hurt him more than anybody, which is sad to say because I love Paul Ellering back in the day. But I felt like all he did on the side of the ring was smack the white piece of paper in his hand, and that's about all he did on the side. Like there was no point in having him out there. They should have just left Scarlett as the manager and let her do all the work. He just was like an added piece. They're like, we're going to bring some nostalgia back. But I felt like it killed any momentum they could have had because he just felt like he wasn't there for any reason. Like he just stood there and tried to look mean at all 106 pounds of him now that he's, 95 years old. And I don't know. I just felt like he was ineffective as a piece.
Yeah, and then in Cross, the theory from the internet wrestling community is that he hadn't been used because they said he doesn't take bumps. But then Sean Ross Sapp was like showed all these videos like, well, what about this bump and what about this? But it's like that's a dumb theory. But you were talking about his cryptic promos and interview stuff. I don't know. Did any of y'all watch the pre-show to Night of Champions?
Mm-hmm.
There was an interesting one in the parking lot with him and Byron. It was, and so I thought for a second I was like, maybe he'll win, but I just knew they wouldn't have Sammy lose. But I would have liked to see Cross go over. But that
would have put some huge heat on Cross though in that moment, right? Yeah. I mean, like that would have been. Now it would have only been effective in that stadium, probably to that effect. But man, that would have been. I don't know. Yeah, I like the character that Cross has, and maybe and somebody threw out the theory of like Cross battling Uncle Howdy for the control of the Wyatt Six, and I don't know there either, or maybe. But I think he needs a darker character than Theory that he can roll with.
I thought like Cross with the Judgment Day would have been good if like they were losing somebody, but you would want him to be the leader, and that's how Finn would have to go. But
he helped turn them, remember? Because he kind of was whispering in their ear there, over and over. And actually, he was whispering in Woods' ear, really.
Right.
And then it ended up Woods kind of, trickled over, and all of a sudden, Kofi Kingston.
Did I actually say New Day? I meant Judgment Day, but.
Oh, I was talking about New Day.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I would like to see Cross with Judgment Day, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of.
I think Balor's leaving the Judgment Day at some point, not too long. I think they're going to make another run with the Demon, and I think they're going to because they hurt the Demon. When they ran that last time and got him beat up, and
I don't want to see Cross go with Uncle Howdy. You're putting somebody that's dead on TV with another group that's dead on TV. I don't think that's going to do anything for either one of them. That's just nobody's going to care about it, which sucks because the Wyatt Six also when they came back had they have fallen off completely.
Man, then they got tag title match.
They got the ball dropped. They came out and they like murdered the whole crew, and then the next week when everyone was fine, like that just completely.
Yeah, Gable was shot in the head.
He was shot in the head, and then he was back. Like they should have thought that through a little more.
Don't worry, guys. It was strawberry jam. I'm fine.
Like it was really cool. Like they just completely destroyed everybody, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, where are they going?" Like I was in it. And then they just kind of just.
Well, one person got hurt. I forget who got hurt, but one person got
It was,
hurt.
it was
off
Bo
TV,
Dallas.
and they took the whole group off TV.
Right.
Like,
Because
we
if you
got
don't, I mean, I
5
guess it
members.
makes sense in some way if Howdy's the leader. And that's why I thought when that happened, I thought they might run crossover and he might try to like pull them away, like lure them away, you know, in some way. But I don't think they can coexist, Howdy and Cross, unless you have like a battle for the power. But now that it's kind of stale, it wouldn't be effective.
Alexa Bliss could go back, like, you know, take the reins back over, revert back.
Now they're going to team her and Charlotte up. So.
Which is a terrible idea.
Jeez Louise.
But they're not friends. They're just, you know,
right.
What they say they were. Was it common? I don't know what they said. I can't remember.
Something exactly. Like convenience kind of thing. Or,
yeah, partners of convenience or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not so
whatever.
Sorry. But speaking of groups, guys, the next match we had a lot of interference. We got some guys coming back. We got some new guys. Kyle didn't like this. I'm excited for this one again. There's at least we got something new in the group. We got Tala Tonga, Kyle. Tala Tonga.
We don't know that.
Not short of Tonga.
No, it's official. It's official.
They didn't say any name on commentary.
They've announced it later. Like,
they announced it. Yeah,
that's how I didn't hear it on commentary. No, I don't know.
We talked about that earlier. Is they got to do a better job of this because Cole's like, we got his brother
and Tama Tonga's brother. Cool.
It made him sound absolutely dumb. That's what it did. Like, because then we talked about too. They had Jeff Cobb one week, and then next week, all of a sudden, he's JC Mateo. Like they said,
which is a terrible name. It's an awful. It's not even that they change it. It's an awful name to change it to. Like you're trying to homage the JC, I guess, for Jeff Cobb. But good Lord, like JC Mateo, like he sounds like a guy that you'd hang out with on Saved by the Bell.
Well, then, and how creative is Tala Tonga? We got Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga. You're tall, Tala Tonga.
Tala Tonga. There.
Hey, I feel like I said earlier. I feel like Tonga Loa should be the one that's mad. He got his last name as his first name, like everybody else. At least got it in the right order.
Man, that dude's aged like 50 years since he's been out too, man.
Brother, and you're excited about this, Brett. This is what you're excited about.
I am because you need that many people to balance how good Jacob Fatu is. They needed more guys, right? It makes him now. He's gonna have to go get his guys. I saw Zilla Fatu message say, "Hey Jacob, you know I got you." So they may bring in some more. I mean, bring in some new guys. I like it. They're retelling stories, but at least it's with new characters and new guys I want to see. Like, you know, I'm excited for this. I think this could be a War Games scenario where we have the families battling it out. I don't know.
So the same thing we did last year.
Yeah, but Roman Reigns isn't involved. I mean, I don't know.
This time they'll all be cousins.
The Usos might be back in this because, you know, they've been disrespected. Big Jim got disrespected by Solo, and you know, so.
And I feel like we got to do something with Big Jim's wardrobe choices. Like, dude, why are you wearing a dress and pants in the ring? Like, come on, Big Jim. Like Naomi has got way too much control in that household. That's what I'm saying. She wears manlier outfits than he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like that the Samoans could almost just have half of a roster. You know, now they've bringing in everybody. Not sure how much The Rock has influence over that, but Kyle loves that.
You could have The Rock show up on one side or the other.
Shut up, Jeremy.
I'm not saying I want
The Rock on one side, and you got the OTC on the other side. And
The Rock's going to side with Solo because he realizes Solo can't hack it because he can't cut a promo. I don't care what anybody says. I'm pretty sure my son talks a better promo at 9. And then you've got, I mean, that was the problem is like Solo was supposed to be the next guy. And then they accidentally let Jacob Fatu speak 1 week. And they're like, oh, crap. Why did we let him talk? We should have just kept him silent because now everyone knows that Solo's even worse than he was, you know.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Zilla Fatu. It's like, I don't know who's begging for contract more, him or Matt Cardona. Every day they're asking for a WWE contract. But, man, I really couldn't believe that they took I know the story part, but I just couldn't believe they took the title off of Jacob so quickly. You know, but I mean, we'll see where they go with it from here. And, hey, I was just glad we had a title match. I mean, we get one later too, but we have Night of Champions and only 2 of the 6 matches are title matches. And on the SmackDown the night before, you had 3 title matches.
Yeah, there we go. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got Night of Champions, but only 2 title matches. Like, I just don't get it. Like,
I would have liked to have seen. I would have rather have seen a DQ with the Fatu.
yeah.
Right, Tonga, like call it a DQ.
I mean, it was the ref just didn't see it, right, Kyle?
Refs are idiots. All refs are stupid. But look, I agree with you that new faces being brought in brings new energy into it. I get that. You're excited about JC Mateo?
I mean, he's in it.
You're excited about Tonga Loa?
Tonga, man, he just came back. We'll see. We still got Tama
No.
Tonga.
No. Tonga Loa was the same one that botched a nut kick and punched KO in the head. This is the same guy that you're
just mad
excited
because
for.
he punched Uncle Kevin. That's what you're mad about.
It could have been any. It could have been Brandon or Jeremy that he punched. I still would have been upset. I'm saying, like, I get it. So think about the original Bloodline, right? We had Roman and the Usos, and Solo came in. There was excitement every week. Those guys, they had story around them. We cared about them. After that, even when Solo had the Tongans, there still was a little bit going on there. When Solo had him and JC, and that's their bloodline, JC's not even Samoan. Like, he's not even part of the bloodline.
But Sammy wasn't either.
He was an honorary Oos. That's different. There was a whole story with it, Brett.
Well,
this dude
maybe
came in off the street.
Give it a chance. Maybe there's some stories coming, KO.
Listen, here's my thing. When I was talking about I'm burnt out on stuff. This is part of it that I'm burnt out of. So much freaking interference. Just do the match, bro. Like, you had Mateo interfere, Tonga Loa interfere, Tala Tonga interfere. That's 3 in this match. We'll get to the next match when there's 5 more that decide to interfere in it. Like, bro, it's so predictable and it's so lazy. Just stop.
You knew Tala Tonga was coming.
Yes. He had been rumored. He was seen.
But you knew he was coming.
Seen.
You knew he was coming.
He was seen in Riyadh.
I like this because coming into this show, when they go overseas to Saudi, what do we always talk about? The shows.
They're nothing shows.
You can miss them and nothing happens, right? But at least this was big. Something happened, right? You had a couple guys. You had a guy return. You had a guy come that was new. You had the interference to me. If you do it right, makes it a big moment, right?
It's overdone though. I agree, but it's overdone.
Not in these type of shows. I wasn't expecting anything but just kind of match. Okay, match like. They just normally.
You weren't expecting JC Mateo to interfere in Solo.
Maybe that a person that was
okay, but that's my point.
That wasn't what made
always interference.
That wasn't what made it the big moment. It was the fact that there was 2 guys that weren't expected to even be there, showed up and interfered. That was me.
I was more surprised by Tonga Loa, but only because I'd seen the report that said that Hikuleo had been seen.
Hikuleo was already there,
right? Like. When I saw that, I was like, oh, he's probably going to make an appearance. But I still wasn't 100% sure what side. I was pretty sure it was going to be Solo because he needed the help. But I thought they did a pretty good job of pulling him in because for once the camera, like, you just see somebody reach over, yank him off, and then all of a sudden it's a
Tonga Loa botched that, by the way, too, trying to come into the ring, if you remember.
Yeah.
He sucks. Tonga Loa sucks. He sucks.
He's the guy that gets the adrenaline dump and then can't run through the sign at the football game, right? Like, he gets tanked by the paper sign.
Hey, somebody's got to take the pins, KO.
You're right. I get the story. I get it. I guess for me, you said you didn't know he was there. I guess for me, I figured that Jacob would lose it because Hikuleo was there in Riyadh and would probably help Solo win it. So I kind of figured that would already happen.
I had no idea.
I figured there would be interference.
Yeah, I was.
And then when you backdoor that with more interference, and when you knew that was coming too, because Cena can't win without interference. Cena has to have help. So you knew that was coming and you still decided to overbook it with 3 people. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. I'm sick of the interference.
I didn't mind I knew the Rollins interference and I didn't mind the other guys coming to help balance the score. It was
Except
okay.
when Penta's walking down while Cena's getting choked
Yeah,
out and Penta's
well,
just doing
listen.
his walk.
Listen, if you could walk like that, you would
Come on.
walk like that too. I'm just saying. Now, I would have loved to have seen him in that one moment, like start the walk and be like, just kidding, boom, right? Like, but he probably didn't want to pull a Titus O'Neil, right, and just
That's
eat
true.
it on the way in and just
That's
slide into
true.
the ring and like pop out the other side or something, you know.
Oh no.
No, I thought the Pinna jump in was fine. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't my favorite necessarily, but it's interesting to see what they're going to do with this whole like with Penta and Ray, and then you got Andrade floating out, Andrade, and kind of that thing going on. Where are they going to go with all that? But I thought it was a cool way to do it a little bit. And I don't love, and maybe they're doing it on purpose, but Braun Breaker is becoming like the complete meathead because he's got the advantage. He's in the ring. He's got the higher ground. And then all it takes is Pinna pimp walking. And then Braun's like, bump that, I'm out, you know, and he takes off after. Like, I don't know. It's just.
Well, before we get into that last match, probably my least favorite match, unfortunately, Jade Cargill's not ready. Like,
I forgot all about this.
I know. She's queen of the ring, but I don't like her. She's got the look, she's got the entrance, like look $1 million, but I think we kind of talked about this also in our group chat, guys, that I mean, they should have started her at NXT and let her develop. Like, I feel like that she's at this point now, and the matches that she puts on were like, oh, and then you've got all these stars like Julia, you've got Stephanie Vakir, you've got Roxanne Perez, you've got just numerous stars that can put on better matches that are there. And Jade Cargill's got the look and the character, like she looks like she could just destroy anybody, but in the ring, she just doesn't look ready. And so that's what worries me. I think they rushed her a little bit. I'm hoping she can pick it up, but I mean, how many years has she been wrestling now? When AEW kind of did the same thing and they just pushed her straight to the top. Like, yeah, they pushed her.
But they gave her a lot of squash matches, which I know that's a little bit like in the sense of they made her look better. I don't know if that helped her or hurt her. I think it did both, right? Like, I think it helped. She looked like $1 million in AEW for a long time until they finally put her against some real stiff competition. Then it was like, ugh. But I don't know if they probably hurt her development a little bit, but I think that was the thing that like WWE probably didn't do. They probably should have put her in a few more of those like, you know, jobber matches early on and kind of built some cred with her and then given her a chance to go. And I also think, I wonder if it almost looks like she's afraid to hurt somebody. You know what I mean? In a way, like I think she's afraid of some criticism that's come out from her time at AEW. And so she's pulling back even more. Like you watch her go for like the pump kick or the head kick. And it's like, I mean, she's leaning back before it ever even gets close, you know, and I don't know. It just seems like a little bit like she's trying not too much to pull.
Yeah, there's just so much talent women wise right now. And I think that's going to make it really stick out of how bad she is in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some women that can just straight out go. One of my favorites right now, Sol Ruka, man. I love watching her in the ring. The Soul Snatcher, man, that's the nastiest move.
And she's on the poster of the Evolution, so it may get her in that.
She's going to be in that 4-way because there's the other thing. Well, I won't rant on this. Don't worry. You have a fatal 4-way women's tag team match.
Oh yeah.
You have no women's tag teams, so that's great. But you got one on Raw, Dupree and Natalya. There's your women. There's your one on Raw. SmackDown, you're probably going Charlotte and Alexa. They're going to probably team up. So there's yours, and then NXT probably Sol Ruka and Zarya. Yeah. So there. I mean, like that's what I'm talking about. Like the predictability is just.
Unless are the Raw one going to be the Bella Twins?
Oh,
they're not on Raw though.
Well, I mean,
free agents. They can be.
Nikki's been on Raw.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Anyway, back to Jade. She looks like $1 million on paper. She is
coming into the ring.
10 out of 10. Like she's the type we talk about in football. Off the bus, $1 million.
That's what they're supposed to look like. Yeah,
that's.
I know some teams that look like that coming off the bus, and then when they get down the court, they fall flat.
Okay, So this is Jade Cargill. She looks phenomenal. I mean, chiseled out of granite. But when she steps, when the bell rings, it's a train wreck. When the bell rings, it is horrible. And you're right. They have put a rocket to her back and gave her this Queen of the Ring that she did not deserve, because she looks great doesn't mean she deserves the Queen of the Ring over Asuka. Let's just put that in perspective. Asuka, one of the best female wrestlers, and you had Jade pin her and couldn't even pin her properly. Like, she can't even execute her own finishing pin. Like, she is Tonga Loa level in the ring. She is bad.
Oh, she's
in
not
the ring.
that bad.
She's not that bad. Okay, you're right.
She's
Wow.
You know why
she's Bobby Lashley promo bad.
Okay, but you know why she's not that bad? Because she only has 3 moves of doom like Goldberg. She can't do much. She does the kick and the little glam slam. That's about it.
No, I thought her outfit at Night of Champions was phenomenal. The Storm cosplay was legit, like
phenomenal.
Yeah, best one yet. Like the hair, the whole,
Absolutely.
I think she looks stiff, and I think it's, like I said, I think it's the fear of, because I think when she goes against somebody equal power, she looks better, right? Like, she looks a little bit less stiff when it's somebody size comparison wise.
But here's
he looks a little bit smoother. But I think
do you want to see the match that everyone would see was her and Bianca Belair? Do you really want to see that now? I don't.
No. But here's the thing, Jeremy. Like, if she's afraid of hurting somebody, then putting her in the ring with Asuka is actually the best thing you can do, because Asuka's from Japan. She's used to that stiffness and that strong style. So if that's what you're afraid of, then you're setting her up for success by saying, hey, if you're a little stiff, that's okay. She's
don't worry,
used to that.
We kicked Asuka's tooth out. She's fine.
Right. Exactly. So I get what you're saying, but if that's the case, then you don't need her on the main roster being Queen of the Ring. You need to have her on NXT developing and getting better.
I think the problem was when they grabbed her, it was such a big pull, right? They didn't have much choice but to rocket ship her, and then I think they saw how that didn't work. And so if you've noticed, almost everybody else they've brought in from AEW since then has started the NXT pipeline, right? Yeah. And so maybe you hate it for if she's the mistake that everybody's learning from, and I'm hoping she'll get better. Maybe they'll quietly send her down there to go stomp some people in NXT and give her a chance, and kind of like they do sometimes, they'll cycle somebody through. But you can't now that she's Queen of the Ring. And I love Asuka, but I wouldn't have, if Asuka beats her, it would have to be a move set, right? Versus like a legit win. Like, it would have been one of those, like, to me, to make it effective, it would have had to have been the sneaky pin or the right, like a roll the way they did that, where she was over on her own shoulders and Asuka rolls with a lot. Like, that would have been an effective way to have Asuka steal a win. But I don't know that you can effectively have Asuka win that outright. You could consider Jade to be a power player.
You could do a thing where she gets on a losing streak and she just gets it in her head, and so she has to go back to NXT to kind of reinvent herself or something. I mean, there's ways you could do it, but now that again, like I said, she's Queen of the Ring. You can't go back now. I mean, she's Queen of the Ring. She needs to go back and nope, it's too late now. So I guess, did they announce that she's going to go against? Did they tell you she was gonna go against yet? Did they predetermine that?
Tiffany.
See, I don't want to see that. I mean, I don't.
Well, it's gonna be one. She's probably gonna win, and then Naomi's gonna cash in.
Oh gosh, see, and they waste.
Or Naomi catches the end in there and pins her, and then like runs her title match. I think that would actually be better. You run her title match, you pin her, and then you still Tiffany can say, "Hey, Naomi, you never beat me," and then they run it back.
Or even the cash in, and then she gets so consumed by taking on Jay that they take each other out, and then Tiffany picks up the win on whoever's left in the dust.
Yeah, because nobody has ever not cashed in with the women. They're 100%.
At some point, you got to break that streak. You can't make it a 10 for 10 or you know what I mean. You can't do that. It's okay to have a botched or a short term
I know we're talking about not, but I loved the Tiffany Nia last woman standing on SmackDown. That was
very good. Yeah. I think I have an idea. What if what if, because we're already screwed up in this Jade mess. So how do we get out of this, right? So let's creatively think of a way out of this. What
She gets
about
attacked again?
so Jade and Tiffy fight at what, SummerSlam, I guess?
Yeah.
Or whenever they fight. Okay, so Jade and Tiffy at SummerSlam. During that match, looks like Jade's maybe about to win or whatever. Naomi comes down to try and cash in, makes it a triple threat. Okay, now we got a triple threat. Jade and Naomi, like you're talking about, kind of going at each other. When it looks like Jade might win, Bianca comes out. And Bianca costs Jade the championship. Then you got that's how you get to the Bianca Jade feud. Now, is she ready for it? Absolutely not. But if you're going to do it, if you're going to do this way, let's get that going there. And then you have months you can build up to Bianca and Jade. And you can still have Jade and Naomi go at it. But maybe now Jade has to find somebody to team with her. Then you got tag team matches you can do and all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. But Bianca's going to go heel at some point because she's talked about she wants to go heel. I think WWE wants to turn her heel at some point.
My daughter will be devastated. Bianca's her favorite wrestler.
And here's the other part about Jade too. I have a hard time cheering for Jade. She's a heel. She needs to be a heel. I can't cheer for Jade.
And then she could cheaply move and cheat, and it would be a little easier to make a case for that. Like you could get that, like she, you could go to the referee's not looking. She does something cheap and gets an easy pin. You know how that goes, Kyle. That could be more believable. I don't think she's a face. It's kind of like Charlotte. She just can't be a face. She tried to come out and do face, right, and she just can't. I think Jade would be better served right now in her career. Now later, if she gets better in the ring and whatever.
She's just not a likable character. Like,
yeah,
hearing her talk the way she cared, like she's just not likable. Like she's a heel character.
Well, she was more of a heel, and she was really a heel in AEW. The way that she squashed and the way that she was just like, I'm taking I'm beating everybody up, and that's the way it's going to be, kind of thing. And it was a subtle heel. Like, I don't know that it was necessarily like massively overt, like I'm going to get the crowd to hate me.
Right? But she could have done that in WWE, but WWE strapped her as a babyface with Bianca immediately.
They dressed her like a superhero.
You can't subtly be heel if you're next to the biggest babyface in the company.
Well, I thought they were going to do it too with the whole like getting taken out, right? And she comes back in the white white outfit with the blood on it. Like I thought this is where she turns heel, right? Yeah. And instead, and I think Naomi's a better heel character too because the glow gets annoying, right? Like.
Some of the best work I've cared about Naomi in a long time. She's actually a character that, I care not necessarily to like her or not, but you care about her. She's different. Like it's just not her coming out with her music and the glow and it's like I like what they did with that caution tape. Like she's doing
great. She's doing great work.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to give some lessons to Big Jim. Big Jim needs to do some better work.
Poor Big Jim.
I know, man. How that's got to be so hard too to be a twin and have your brother like on a rocket ship to the moon, and you can't get traction on the other brand,
Well, and not only that, but your dad is vouching for Jay and ain't saying nothing about you or your brother Solo that ain't getting the same kind of love. I meant to bring this up when we were talking about all the bloodline stuff, and I got off on a tangent. But I did hear a rumor that. Obviously, Roman's coming back. We know Roman's return is imminent. He'll be back anytime. But I heard a rumor that possibly getting a Shield group reformed for Roman to lead. What if Roman comes back to help Jacob Fatu, and then Big Jim joins them? There you got 3. If Jay wants to come back to help out.
But you didn't like that, Kyle. Remember we just talked about this a while ago. You said, "Nah, I'm done with this bloodline."
No, I didn't say that. I said I'm done with that bloodline. This is the OG bloodline. You're talking. Yeah, I'm done with the Timu bloodline. The OG bloodline.
No, I said they were going to reform. They're going to need to grab some new members. I mentioned Jay and Jimmy. I didn't mention Roman yet, but I did mention Jay and Jimmy possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I think Roman comes back and it goes Roman, Fatu, the Uso brothers, and then I think The Rock comes back and I think he swings to the other side. And I know you don't want to hear it. No, listen, I know you don't want to hear it. And I'm not saying I want this, but how many times have we said we want to see The Rock and Roman head to head, and they've teased it,
and we're never
and
getting
every time Rock's like. He's the guy, right? He's the guy, and I think you get the because he what it was 3, then 2.
Yeah,
you
ran Kyle off, Jeremy. It's okay.
He'll be back. He's listening. He pretends like he doesn't care, but he cares.
It's usually me that runs him off.
Listen,
he's back.
Jeremy, I have a tough truth I have to tell you, brother. All right, and I hate to break this to you, but I love you, and I'm gonna have to do it. We're not getting Rock and Roman. It ain't happening.
No, I know.
I'm
with you. I don't think it'll happen. No, I know. I would love to see it happen. Is what I'm saying. Like in the sense, I
would have loved to seen it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're not getting it.
Well, speaking
I don't need Rock coming back. I'm gonna use the CM Punk line. I don't need the big bald doofus coming back into Raw or WWE. And just dipping his toe in and then running and leaving everybody else to pick up the pieces.
So
ooses.
So here's the deal, Kyle. Who would have thought we'd ever have this next match to talk about again? John Cena and CM Punk. So if Cena and Punk will finally meet again, maybe Roman and The Rock will. You never know.
Maybe 14 years later.
You could WrestleMania. You could go WrestleMania main event night 1 or 2 with that, and it would sell out so fast.
Well, no doubt.
I mean, it would be huge.
It would, but I'm not getting my hopes up for it ever again. Rock has screwed me twice. Rock has screwed me twice in this thing, and I'm not getting my hopes up for it ever again. I am done with The Rock.
Okay. All right. So this match, Cena and Punk, I thought that I need to talk about the night before. SmackDown.
Both nights, but the previous SmackDown.
Such a good promo.
The promos, my goodness. I mean, these guys just killed it. I thought it was cool. They hit the Cena comes out, and then all of a sudden Thugonomics hits, and I'm like, what is going on? And Punk comes all out in his John Cena lookalike gear.
No drug.
Just killed it, man. And there was a couple lines that kind of didn't rhyme, but overall, Punk just nailed it. And like Cena had nothing. It was great. Now, the week before, I didn't catch that promo week because I think I watched some of SmackDown and didn't get all of it. I saw the end where Cena was on the ring ropes and Punk was through the table. Y'all have to fill me in on what happened with that.
That was the Cena pop bomb. I mean,
he did the pop bomb, right?
Yeah, he copied Punk's pop bomb, and he name dropped Matt Cardona, Claudio Castagnoli, and Nick Nemeth. So that was a.
And then there's that whole theory online now where he was referring to Matt and Nick Jackson from AEW.
Colt Cabana. Yeah.
It was an interesting, and then Claudio, CC, and anyway, it was an interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got some stuff you could at least thread people along with if you want to. With all that.
I thoroughly enjoyed the match. I know these guys are both, pushing 50, but they can still. Cena, the most impressive move of the night was when he put on his shoulders a mass of a man. I mean, that I don't know how much he weighs, guys. Woo. But he got him up there. Like, I think people were, and did y'all see the Stephanie? Have y'all seen any of the Stephanie's places on the WWE? You only need to watch them.
I do. I have them on the list, but
they're really good. I watched the one with Cena, and he was kind of talking about the fact that he has the gym there, and he's got like these, weightlifting top marks and stuff, and that he can't quite do it as well as he used to, and that's kind of why he's not doing it anymore. He's gonna retire just because he doesn't want to be one of those that. Well, in Kyle's word, like Goldberg limping out to the ring, he's gonna go out while he can still wrestle. But that to me was so impressive. Like, I mean, Bronson Reed, he's got to be 350 pounds, guys. I mean, right? I mean, somewhere. Maybe
Yeah, I think they said 380. I think is what they.
I mean,
even more impressive than picking him up. He looked like he tossed a piece of candy off his shoulder. I mean, Reed was
he's
flying.
listed at 346.
Okay, he's a huge dude.
That's generous. I mean, I think he might be more than that. He's a big dude.
A biscuit away from 380.
Yeah. I mean, the match was great. It kind of gave me an AEW feel, like, because we kept hitting finishers and they didn't die. Diggs would probably crush this match because we had, a bunch of false finishes. I didn't care. I was hanging
feel like
on.
I'm becoming Diggs.
What's that?
I feel like I'm becoming Diggs.
Yeah,
You are.
like the false finishes.
You're the Diggs to this show, KO.
Bro.
Diggs isn't there. But there was a lot of those. But this match needed. Now, we talked about it earlier. The performance of the night goes to Charles Robinson.
Oh.
Charles Robinson just got demolished. He was, and he sold it like $1 million. I hope
Dude, it looked like Cena had a grudge from 30 years and just been holding it out for one moment, and he put all of it into him because Robinson's face was priceless, like eyes wide, like look of complete shock and terror as he goes about 8 yards in the air.
Golly. But just the match was great. I knew the interference was coming, Seth Rollins getting his way, and they're going to continue. I liked it because they got this match in, right? Cena, we knew he was going to win some way. It wasn't going to be, it wasn't going to be legally. The ref obviously didn't see it because they were both down, but Seth Rollins coming out makes sense. There's a title on the line. Its storyline makes sense. It kind of didn't know if he was coming out for the title specifically, or is it just to screw CM Punk? Was it both? Was he just trying to feel out the situation? You had several moments of the match where it kind of felt like it was going one way. He was just, going to take out CM Punk. Well, then he was going to take out Cena too and get the title. Then he didn't. But there's they continue the storyline with Punk, which I really like. They've kind of got that. And then you still have him holding that briefcase, which I think, unbeknownst to Kyle, he's going to cash in on Goldberg here in a few weeks and get the title. But we'll see. But I really enjoyed this match. I mean, it was great. It had twists and turns. It was a great story. You got the CM Punk Cena match one more time. You got the hug in the ring. I feel like that was a genuine hug. Part of they wanted to do that in the ring. And then you had the Cena, his face again turn back, angry, and he realized he needed to do whatever it took to win, and ended up getting the win. And I wasn't a big fan of Cena's turn at first, but now it's interesting. Like, where is it going to end? Are they going to keep putting this all the way to the end, and he tries to walk out with a title? I like the story, or is it going to end early and he's going to end kind of going downhill on a face turn? So I don't know. There's lots of places it can go, but needless to say, this match had a lot of things that I liked in it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's an overbooked mess, but I kind of expected that, and we got those at WrestleMania. We got it here. We're gonna get one next week in the other company. We get a lot of overbooked messes in these main events, but this what Kyle say?
I said that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, we kind of figured this one was going to be, and it worked for this match too. It was a good. I enjoyed it. One final time with Punk and Cena, and then we'll see what they. I kind of getting tired of Punk and Seth, but we'll get it again soon. But we eventually got to get Punk to somebody else, because since he's been back, it's either been Seth or Drew. So we got to get him some other people to dance with, but. And it was kind of cool, you talked about the hug and stuff, but I don't know if you saw one time that he had seen in the turnbuckle, and you can see him mouth like, "Hey, I'm gonna miss you." Like, it's like, I'm gonna miss you being here because
Let's be honest, they're both where they are because of each other.
Yeah,
Feud back, in the day was like it carried the WWE for a while, like Punk and Cena back and forth. You had the Nexus thing. Punk jumped on the Nexus, then he had he kind of had his own deal. Like the battle between those two guys was what, kept me watching on TV for the longest time. I mean, there were some other wrestlers, but they were the top guys, and they'll probably both would tell you, without the other one, they're not who they are today. Like, it's just, you gotta you can't have the yin yang thing that they did kind of a few times with the pro. Like, it was really cool. They helped tell the story because, you know, there's a lot of people that are watching, you know, our kids included, that weren't born whenever this was going on. So it was kind of a filler, you know, to show you kind of where they started and where it is now. It was a really neat little promo.
I enjoyed the match. I thought the match was fine. It was nostalgic to have two legends of the industry in the ring for one final time. Like, that was awesome. The finisher after finisher after finisher, it was like you're playing 2K and you already had 3 finishers stored up and you just spam, spam, spam. Like, that's kind of ridiculous, but I get it. Whatever. It's what Cena does at this point of his career. Like, that is all that Cena's really capable of right now. The 5 moves of doom and spamming AAs, like, and then cheap shotting somebody. Like, that's what Cena's run is right now, and I'm okay with that because we're getting Cena for one final time. I get it.
But not Goldberg. Not Goldberg.
Because Goldberg's 58 years old and can't move. That's the difference. John Cena just picked up a 350-pound man and threw him off his shoulders.
Hey, listen,
Goldberg ain't doing that.
We'll revisit this conversation July 13th.
Okay. But I mean, I think, you know, a lot of the stuff was neat that they did, and I figured that Seth was going to come out there because not so much to cash in on Cena, just to screw Punk, because he even said it Monday night, like, as long as he's breathing, Punk will not be champion. So yes, I figured Seth was going to come in, which figured Braun and Bronson were going to come in. Knew that interference was happening. Then you got Penta walks down to the ring and Cena's getting choked out and punched out. He just decides to Penta walk down this ring. Then you got Sammy come out. It's to Brandon's point. Couple weeks at All In, we're going to see this almost carbon copy of the exact same thing in the main event. And that's what I'm talking about. Zero creativity. Let's just throw a bunch of random people out here in this match and have them all interfere. Like, bro, come up with a story.
The only argument I would say is, like, I think what you said was you're not sure if Seth's coming in to rob Punk or is he coming in to cash in. I think that's the thing that changed it a little bit. I think that's what made it effective, because there's that moment where you're like, is he cashing in? Is he robbing somebody? Is it both?
Cashing in on Cena. I didn't see that happening.
No, I mean, I think if you're looking at any other match, like, you know what I mean? I think there's enough vines in that story with other play-ins with Penta and Sammy and with Bronson and Braun going after those guys. Like, I thought it was believable enough because there's, you know, they've tied enough of those lines together where it wasn't like just some random guy that decides he's on Cena's team. They're not even in it for Cena. They're in it to get these guys out of the way versus I'm coming out John Cena's run.
And on back to the referees, that just reminded me of the stupidity of the officials. Dude gets shoulder bumped by Cena and is out like a light for 10 minutes, right? Misses all this other stuff going on. But the instant that Cena hits the AA, he springs up in 1, 2, 3.
That guy was flying in the ring.
So Cena had some smelling salt. He tossed it down to the referee.
I agree. I think those are a little bit too. It's a little too obvious. Like, it needs to be Cena coming over and dragging the guy off the ground and bringing him back in, or something. That makes it a little bit more believable. It's the same thing like in a tag match where the guy's out for 45 minutes and he's laying underneath the ring or at the bottom of the ring, and then at the very moment, all of a sudden he's 100 again. He's like, you know, full power. Like
he was on the charger, KO. He was on the charger.
He got fully charged.
And he got zapped real quick. He stayed on too long. He got zapped, and it like immediately woke him up. To 1, 2, 3.
I mean, as soon as he hit it, I saw him fly under the rope. I said, "You've got to be kidding me."
Well,
anyway, sorry. I've been really ranty tonight, but it's because I haven't been able to rant for like 3 months.
We've had it all. It's all been stored up. You know.
Yeah.
The best thing they could have done there was have a third referee come down, right?
Yes.
2 guys are out. Yes. Here comes the third guy down the hill.
Yes.
That would have been it would have been more effective.
And then Seth Rollins hits him with a briefcase and knocks him.
Oh my gosh!
They run out of referees. You know, then have to send the official down to the ring.
I do like Seth's new briefcase, the personalized one.
Yes, that one
looks
looks
cool.
sweet. Looks real sweet.
You got Plan B. We heard Monday night Seth was off making Plan
Which we
B.
don't know what that is.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah.
Even Paul doesn't know what it is. He said, I don't even know what the plan is.
So I've been trying to catch up on AEW here lately. Yeah.
Oh.
And I watched it. I watched the other night. This is a match you'd love. There was a 14-man tag. I'd never seen that in my entire life.
Oh, that was in the Mexico, yeah.
We had a 10-man tag.
10-man. It was like
that was the same night, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, hey, guys, I'm gonna see how many wrestlers I can book in one night's wrestling.
Brett, the 14-man tag was so bad.
I didn't even know who
was
on
couldn't even
team.
fit everybody on the ring.
Yeah, they
couldn't even fit on the ring.
And I didn't know who was on whose team. I haven't watched, like, is that guy in the lucha mask? Is he a heel or face?
And you know how he's getting all the Beast Mortos, you know how he's getting all these main events now?
Mercedes Moné.
Sasha. Yep.
Yeah.
Because of the Monet.
And now he's been in the main event 2 weeks in a row.
He'll probably be in the main
social media
event
posts
too.
that have like the blotted out face, like
Tomorrow's their whatever 1,000th episode or whatever. Like,
but yeah, so I've been trying to catch up on that just to get ready for All In for the. I don't know where I'll end up being that night. I think I'm actually going to be on the beach that night, so maybe I'm gonna try to plan my schedule where I can book 8 hours of time.
So you're going for 2 weeks?
Yeah, so we're taking off tomorrow,
yeah.
and then we're gonna. It's kind of like a couple different trips.
Okay,
At the end of the week, we'll be going Houston, Galveston way next week. So that's where I'll be next week. The following weekend when the actual pay-per-view is. So I'm gonna try to get in some wrestling when I can. So we'll see. I think we'll probably be so tired at that point there won't be a whole lot. We'll just be more of kind of chill. We got a beach house, so we'll be trying to kind of relaxing in the evening. Hopefully,
there's a lot of wrestling that weekend for 4 events. So.
Yeah, so I may or may not catch them all live, but I am bringing my streaming stick with me. It's coming with me on the trip, so I will be plugging in.
It's in your car, no matter what. You can watch where you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I'll be at All In. I'm still waiting to hear about Dynamite and Collision. I didn't even try for Ring of Honor.
So did you get the free media tickets, Brandon?
Yeah.
Man, see, I'm jealous. I wanted to do that, but
you won't be there.
I wouldn't be in town.
Yeah, but I'll be there for the Saturday for sure. I got that letter today, the email today, approval, but they haven't sent about Collision or Dynamite yet, so I'm waiting to still hear on those. But I'm hoping to be at 3 AEW shows next week. So.
Wow, man, just Brandon. You got to give us some good stories from that.
Well, I'll already be there. Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll be up for Big 12 Media Days anyway. Wednesday, I'm hoping.
I wonder.
Big 12 Media Days during the day and head over to Garland for.
Have you talked to Professor? I wonder if he'll be. It's over there in his area. I wonder if he'll.
It is. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm sure he's got to be at All In.
Him or Swaggy? Is Swaggy going to be there?
I don't know. I saw Swaggy's at a baseball game tonight, which is. I actually ran into Swag. Me and Swaggy, we hung out for a little bit a couple weeks ago at a basketball tournament.
Oh, the TABC.
Yeah. We crossed paths a couple times and Saturday and Sunday. So
I'm sure he was out supporting his Dallas Carter.
He was, yeah.
Squad, yeah.
My son's been begging me to catch a live show, and so we got to get to one sometime. And it's like his bucket list right now. It's like his number one.
So like AEW's coming next week, and then the next weekend WWE's gonna be in San Antonio, and then NXT's gonna be in Houston. Like they're gonna be in Texas a lot in July.
Yeah, which is crazy when it's 1,500.
Like the week after, if it was like the next, because I'd be down there. I might be the talks because we're gonna be. Right above San Antonio, that first part. And
NXT's going to be in Houston kind of when you are down there, but I think it's that next week, yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of wrestling coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to hop on and we'll have a lot to digest after this wrestling. We don't know if Kyle will make it through all of it. He may fall asleep.
And we'll catch up that week. The
full transparency. I did not see the Asuka and Jade match because I was asleep during that.
I know we were talking about it. He's like, what?
I fell asleep. I legit fell asleep during that match on Saturday and woke up for the main event. But I'm the only things that interest me in AEW right now are what MJF and the Hurt Syndicate are doing, and then Hangman and Swerve stuff. And Ospreay. Well, Ospreay's involved in that. So yeah.
Ospreay,
but outside of that, I could not care less about anything that's happening. I am so bored with AEW.
No, you like the Death Riders, KO.
But so okay, like because I don't know how to call it, but how do y'all think Hangman wins do you think Hangman wins or
No,
is it?
I think unfortunately Moxley wins because they're wanting Darby to take it off.
Yeah.
I think Darby returns it all in.
Well,
and it sets it up.
Did you see what Darby's doing now?
No. What
was
what
announced a while ago.
death-defying stun is he doing now?
Here it is. Let me pull it up. He will be on Shark Strike Back on July 24th.
Of course he will be.
Well, you know, when you come in this, what else is there to do?
I thought
the Sharks.
They had it perfectly set up for Ospreay, the biggest fan favorite in AEW, to take the title off Moxley, and they just took a dump on it.
I am looking forward to Ospreay and Swerve against the Young Bucks. So that's gonna be that's gonna be a 10-star match.
I hope that they take it off Moxley, but with what they've been doing storyline wise, like I don't think they're gonna give it to Hangman. I hope so, but I don't think they're gonna take it off Mox at All In. I just don't see it.
Okay,
it's got to be Ospreay at some point. I think he's the guy to take it off of him at some point.
Darby's taking it off of him.
Yeah,
he ain't even been on TV. I don't even care about Darby anymore.
Darby put a flag on Mount Everest. He's getting the AEW title. You guarantee it.
So I got a question. He's appeared on the last 2 weeks of AEW, but hasn't been on TV. But he's appeared at 2 shows recently. But they haven't put him on TV, which is dumb to me.
No,
Danielson.
Brian Danielson.
Does he come in at All In?
Probably, but why retire 6 months ago if you're just going to be right back in?
But the thing is, but he had a match. They're not on the off air after Collision or before Collision. He faced Max Caster, but then a couple weeks ago he came out and did a little thing. It wasn't a match. He just did some moves in the ring. It was a big scramble, and it was in Mexico. But they haven't shown him on TV.
Well, he's got to come
there.
He's got to get his get back, because remember he got choked out by the plastic bag
a couple times.
We had that plastic bag and he couldn't breathe. Remember
I
died.
I do. There was an attempted murder in the ring. I remember that.
I mean, I hope he comes All In. I'll be excited.
I think when Moxley loses, this is my prediction. I think it's one of the Death Riders accidentally costs him the match. I think they interfere, but it's a botched interfere, and I think it's Wheeler Yuta.
That's Kyle's favorite wrestler, Wheeler Yuta.
Wheeler useless.
Hey, also Kyle.
Exactly. He's the Tongaloa. He's their Tongaloa. He's gonna find a way to botch it. He's gonna actually pass the chair and it's gonna slide by Mox
go in the ring.
Hangman. Or so, it's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna be a botch from the Death Riders. It's gonna cost him, and then or it's a Danielson interference of some sort. It's gonna be something like that where Mox loses it, but it's not of his own accord completely. It's one of those where he still saves a lot of face and he gets pinned, but it's not because it's because some idiot botched it, or somebody came in, and that's my prediction anyway. But I'm
still trying to catch up on AEW, but did I hear that the EVP titles are on the line?
Yeah, that's Ospreay and Swerve.
Stupid too. Yeah,
I mean, so all of a sudden,
because the predictability in that one, are they really gonna give EVP power to Ospreay and Swerve?
I mean, it could be entertaining for TV.
But does that even make sense? It's the same thing when they took Tony out and he wasn't running the show, but he's in Gorilla.
Where's Kenny Omega? I thought he still has EVP power, but he doesn't anymore.
Yeah, he's coughing up tomato paste.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's gonna be good though. Him and Omega.
That match will be good. Yeah, there's gonna be some good matches in that.
So, but Kyle. So one more thing is you said you're excited about MJF and the Hurt Syndicate, and I am too. But we got the biggest show of the year. And the Hurt Syndicate could be defending against FTR, the Bucks,
right.
And they're defending against freaking Speed Clown and the other dude.
Speedball Mike Bailey?
Jet Flight. Or Jet, what is Speed?
Jet Speed.
That
Jet
dude,
Speed.
Kevin Knight's not bad, but
who is Jet Speed?
Kevin Knight's Kevin Knight's Jet.
But Speedball is the biggest. That guy.
I agree. Now, and I'll even add to that point. It's the biggest show of the year, and MJF isn't on the show wrestling.
Yeah, I think he's going to face
he's in there with
Mystico.
them? Oh,
Nothing.
yeah, you're right. Oh, great. A random Mexican luchador.
I
Awesome.
thought,
Yeah,
I thought
you know, I
he-
just learned 2 weeks ago that was Cigar.
I thought he
Oh,
just
is it
fought
really?
Mystico.
Yeah.
Who was it? I just watched the AEW where he
did,
faced him.
and he just ripped his
And he
mask
ripped his
off. Yeah.
mask off, and we're getting that
Mhm.
same match again.
Well, he
I
went and
didn't know
attacked
that
him.
was that all in.
Well, they haven't officially announced it, but he went and attacked him at MLW there night.
Oh.
Rematch. I thought
Okay,
we got
so
rid of
to
these.
your point,
But
yes.
MJF will do something. He'll have some role on the card. Even if it's not Mystico, he'll be in the Casino Battle Royal or something like.
But yeah,
Nope.
you're right. I like Hurt. I guess I like the members of the Hurt Syndicate
No,
and
I do
MJF.
too. And I like
But
when we
what
heard-
they're doing, but what creatively they're doing is absolutely
Well, like,
diabolical.
there's no reason to believe that those two guys could beat the Hurt Syndicate.
Not at all. And then you got the Koopa Troopers that come out too with what's their name? Action Andretti and
That's
what's
Mike.
his
That's
Bridges?
Mike Bailey. That's him, the speedball guy, right?
No.
Action
The
Andretti and Leo Rush.
Koopa Trooper has the
Leo
they got
Rush.
the
Yeah.
jackets with the spikes on it.
The Blue
Yeah, the
Power
Crew.
Ranger. The Blue Power
The
Ranger.
Crew.
The
That's
Crew.
their name. The Crew.
Oh, is that the one that's
Yeah.
got the Blue Power Ranger?
No,
No,
it's
There's
Leo
so
Rush
many-
and Leo Rush and
Action Andretti.
There's so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
wrestlers that don't matter. I get them all mixed up.
So
Sorry.
I have a remedy for some of this because I think I agree. Like there's
Don't watch.
no chance that Speedball and Knight can. I mean, they don't even look like it's an even matchup. Like right, so
Speedball
like,
don't even have shoes.
yeah. I mean, let's introduce
He doesn't
let's
have any-
introduce a
That
weight
guy's awful.
class. Let's introduce a weight class tag team or something because some of these guys you're like. And I think it's the same thing with like the Oscar J that we talked about earlier. Like the size
More
discrepancy.
belts.
is so
More
much.
belts, KO. Let's bring
Well,
more
No,
belts.
I have something. I have
Not at
something.
AEW. Not at AEW. Too many belts already.
No, Jeremy, I have bad news for you, brother. It ain't Wade Barrett. Listen, there's 2 more belts coming. Listen, 2 more
The
belts.
father-son
Women's
tag titles.
I was getting that one, Brandon. Stop it. The women's tag team belts, the women's tag belts, and then listen how awesome this is, Tony. Intergenerational tag belts, so you can have father-son tag teams. Brett, Jeremy, Brandon, I want to ask you, how many father-son tag teams are there in AEW?
Billy
Two.
Gunn's coming back with his kid. Which
3.
kid's Billy Gunn picking?
2?
Christian and Nick.
That's
Wayne.
That's not real. So
Yeah,
how many
Taz-
father-son?
He's the father.
Taz ain't wrestling. His
and Billy
knees are
and one of
shot.
the Gun Brothers.
You got
The
Gunn,
Gunn
yeah.
brothers are off TV. Where are they at? So please tell me.
I've got it.
Intergenerational.
I've got one. Papa O and KO coming to the AEW.
You don't need more titles, and you're making a title that exists for one group. My God.
Yeah, I would be okay with a weight class title over those. You know what I mean? If you did like they did with the flyweight. You know what I mean?
And they didn't learn. They didn't learn
Unbelievable.
from WWE how bad the women's titles are.
The problem is when you have all these sets of ROH belts, when you have all these AEW belts, now you've got these CMML belts. That's the ones with them, right? The CMML. You got those belts. Like if they were different, like that, if they had a weight class tag team, okay, I'm for that. But you don't need 2 regular tag teams and then a weight class tag team. You need, there's got to be some differential in the belts. I like the old belt where it was the light heavyweight, so you had to be under a certain weight. So you get the guy, cruiserweight. Like it gives the guys that like are really good in the ring, like the chance. Like because do we really think that some of these big dudes can lose to a little scrawny guy? I mean, that at least makes it believable and it gives them a chance. Now, when they get good and they get a good run, then they would take some of them elevate up and compete with it. But it just kind of gives them that separation.
Yeah,
like
I think you have a general world title that can be for anybody, and then I think you have like the heavyweight title, right? You got the lightweight, whatever you want to call them. But I think you have under titles, and then anybody can compete for that top one. But you can have a guy that's your cruiserweight champion, and then you give some guy some credibility. You get a guy like a Ricochet or somebody in that weight class.
Ricochet. All right, Kyle, talk about your boy Ricochet.
He's got a new group.
Oh no, is he the talker?
He's got a new group with AR Fox. Yeah,
no, he turned on AR Fox.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's
he walked off the ring apron.
Yeah, he's with Bishop Khan and the other dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's even better.
Who
gives a flying beep about this? Like, who cares? This is ridiculous. This is the worst show. AEW is the worst show.
Hey, DeMario's on here.
Oh,
What's up,
Hey,
Mario.
Mario. Sorry about the negativity tonight, Mario. It's been
I,
pent up
talk,
in here.
I talked to Demario today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not. Ricochet's not I'm just throwing somebody with a name out that like wants to be somewhere. Could you know what I mean? He's got some skill set, but he's not believable beating some of these guys that, I don't know. I think he's a goofball, but I just think in some of the places you look at some of this, like same thing with WWE, right? Like you're looking at guys that have some ability, but weight class wise, you're not gonna put a belt on a guy. I mean, when Brock Lesnar was at the top, does anybody believe in anybody under 200 pounds has even got a snowball's chance? No, right? But I don't know. There's a lot of belts sometimes. And sometimes some guys don't get TV time. It's a way to get somebody on the show, give them some cred, right? And
I think there's
the speed match off in the dark.
There's too many of the same belts is the main thing. Like if there's some differentiating them like that, then I would be more open to them because I do think the belts help with storylines a little bit. Like it gives them a reason to, other than just I just don't like this guy, I'm gonna whoop his tail. Like it gives them a reason. So
they're combining two belts at All In and coming up with a great name, the Unified Championship.
What in the world?
What are we unifying?
That's because they can't say Intercontinental because that's the WWE's belt.
I get it. So just say International or Continental.
Just get rid of one. Yeah.
Right. But why? But instead say I'm a new viewer, right? Just tuning into AEW. Kenny Omega, the Unified Champion. What?
He's the best. I think he's the best. I think he's the.
We know it's a unified international and continental, but if you haven't been watching, what is it unified?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So the story is, Kyle, you don't like all the belts, but then when they do combine them, then they suck at that too. So it just doesn't matter.
It's just trash.
It's
trash can garbage juice.
Suck, right? I mean.
Speaking of belts, and then since we're not going to talk about them before this, who Mercedes with all her belts, does she beat Tony?
Yeah, I think so. I think why you build her up this whole time, and I know, Kyle, you don't want it to happen.
So yeah, because
but what else do you do?
Then when does she lose, and what title does she?
She's the belt collector, and
What would have been smart, Brandon, is have her lose a couple of belts on the road to All In, and then she can lose the title at All In, and she's like losing all these belts. Now she's winning more belts, so why wouldn't she win it All In?
Now that she's got creative power, she's not going to give up anything.
Jeez Louise.
Oh man,
this company's the worst.
Oh man,
yeah.
I'm still looking forward to it next week.
Yeah,
six titles is just insane though. Like 2 or 3, sure. Like at some point where it's like, how many can you carry?
That was the best guy.
There you go.
I disagree.
Well, we got some wrestling to and hopefully we can get a show after this and dissect all this these matches out. And I'm sure we'll get some good stories out of the WWE, and maybe if we get one good story out of AEW, I think we're doing well. But we'll get some good matches. I am looking forward to some of the guys in the ring, just because of the talent in the ring. They when you put some of the guys they're putting together in the ring, you're not going to get a bad match. So I am looking forward to the match quality in there, and hopefully we can get back together after that in a few weeks. I get back and dissect all this, and then we do have high school football on the horizon. So if you're here on NetSN, you're like, what's the wrestling talk? We do talk high school football here, and we've got our Beast from the East shows coming in August sometime. We'll have a scheduled release show at some point and talk about all the games we're going to have this year. We got a ton of games, a ton of teams to cover, and all that. And then we'll also release our polls. Hopefully everyone's been thinking and dissecting their polls, getting ready to vote. We got a couple of new voters this year on our poll, so we're going to have a good audience. And I think Jeremy, you're going to join us on the Beast from the East this year, I think.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely jump in a few times here and there. I don't know how much I can add, but I'll do my best. But no, I'm excited to jump in on this in spite of that ugly Eagles shirt over there.
Yeah, it's Eagles all around over there with KO. It's Lindale Eagles and Philadelphia Eagles and
Boston College Eagles.
Boston College, okay.
Valparaiso.
Valparaiso.
The Eagles. Yeah, aren't they the Eagles? Marquette.
All right.
I love the Golden Eagles.
All right, guys. Do we wrap up? Any final thoughts before we close? Wait a second.
Oh no.
I think did y'all hear that?
Oh no.
Do we
10 o'clock at night?
KO, it's your arch
I'm out of
nemesis.
here.
It's your
I'm
arch
outta here.
nemesis.
See you, buddy.
He's in the room.
He's really coming at the end.
The professor.
What the?
Man, he makes the last second. We're like closing the show out, and the professor he's like that guy that makes that interference in the end of the match and ruins the entire
I come run in and do the shoulder tackle on little Nate over here, and he's out of here.
All right.
Yeah. I didn't cash in my briefcase before you said goodnight.
Well, you just barely snuck it in there. You even cashed in and you ran off KO. He was actually doing a Diggs-like performance tonight, Professor. He was definitely on his rant, and you guys would have probably got along tonight. So.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when Texas Roadhouse calls, the professor's got to be there live and in person. So I checked it. I was like, surely this thing's not going on still. And I hopped on real quick and said live. So I was like, quickly get on. So at least wanted to come say goodnight. I don't want to hijack your show. Obviously, you've talked about it for 2 hours.
Hey, wait, while you're here though, are you going to be in the AEW stuff next week?
We're going to Florida next week, so it's going to be a little bit rough. A little bit of a Disney trip, but. We'll be back. I'll be back for the actual show on Saturday. So
are you going to
I don't have tickets for the show, but I'll be back in town at least to consider going to the show. So
I'll be there Saturday for sure. I don't know about Wednesday and Thursday yet, but Saturday I got my confirmation today. So
yeah, what Brandon didn't tell you is he is going to be the manager of the Outrunners.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got
They recognize Colton recognized your music coming in there, Professor. So real quick before we end though, Diggs, I'd like to get your take, kind of some high and low points of the Night of Champions. I'd like to see how it compares to what we thought.
I mean, I feel like we're in a creative lull right now with WWE. It's kind of getting back to old school AEW. I mean, I'm liking seeing his character more as we progress. So that's I think that one of the biggest positives is I'm seeing progression in that. I'm seeing his cognitive dissonance kicking in as it sounds like he's listening to the fans. It's crazy watching like the pre-show and things like that, where he's actually kind of his old John Cena self, and then he has to put on his heel show for the actual cameras, and the back and forth is a little bit weird, but it's a fun dichotomy right now. I think at some point, Cody taking 2 RKOs and not losing is an issue. I think that's I mean, we're getting into our false finishes repeatedly. The rest of the show is kind of fast forward for me. Even I watched the street fight. I was like, I wonder how we're going to do this in Saudi Arabia. I kind of disappointed there. How many bloodline members do we need at one point? It's like we get a new one every single pay-per-view. So that
it's Tala Tonga because he's tall, Professor.
Tall. It's what do they call him? Like Neamuth or something? Or like some weird name. I've never heard of these people before, so it was kind of a disappointing pay-per-view in the big picture of things. I can't wait for and now the next thing we get to look forward to is Goldberg versus that's our next thing that is on our radar. Goldberg versus Gunther. I mean, a little bit of a creative lull right now for the WWE, but I'm still tuning in. I think SmackDown going to 2 hours will probably be helpful to kind of hopefully maybe generate what's important and what's not. So I'm excited to see what that looks like.
So Goldberg's going to go over, Professor, and then they're going to come out. Rollins is going to cash in, and he goes out.
Or it could be same night. Same night he wins, and Seth
he
cashes in on him.
The match, yeah, and he comes out, and that way Goldberg gets to go out. Kind of at that win at home in his home state. Kyle doesn't like it, but I think it's possible. They got Gunther.
It's definitely possible.
Gunther's not taking him serious. I feel like he's been laughing at him in the promos, not taking him serious. He gets to go off. He just got married. He gets to go off and take some time off. And then Goldberg gets his little, moment. And then the music of Rollins hits. He gets attacked and jumped. And then they he cashes in on him, and then Goldberg, he loses, but it's because he got jumped, and so he can go out. That's my prediction anyway. So.
I think you might be onto something there. So was that kind of the vibe of the panel? I haven't had a chance to go. Was disappointing in general?
Yeah, some good matches. A lot of interference. I mean, we knew the last match. Kyle didn't like I'm a fan of what they're doing with the Bloodline. They've got some new faces, which I'm fine with. Like, we're not revamping the same people. We're getting some new characters in. I'm interested to see where they go with it. Like, because I don't know. This may be a dud. I don't know, but I'm going to give him a chance. At least we're getting some other guys back. Jacob Fatu now is going to have to go find him some help. I've seen Zilla. We talked about Zilla Fatu reaching out to him online. Maybe they bring him in. And, Roman yet to come back. He'll have to come back. He's going to maybe come back with a group. Brandon thinks maybe with a Shield like group. So
That was Kyle. That was Kyle said that.
Oh, was it Kyle? Sorry, Kale. But yeah, you and Kyle were on the same page tonight. I feel like that we had
Professor, you validated me tonight because I came in here very negative and ranted and ranted quite vigorously on quite a few things, and you came in and seconded most everything I said. So I appreciate the validation, Professor.
Well, I mean, you're a very smart man, Kyle. You're going over in the media community in East Texas. You're going over in the wrestling community. What can we say? We've raised up our Big Goose to be the main event of East Texas. Sorry, Brandon. We got a new tribal chief out in East Texas right now.
Oh, Dirt Sheet. What do you have to say about that?
It's all right. I can kind of lay low. I can be the Fatu. I'm all gas, no brakes with it.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh man, well, it was a fun show tonight, guys. And Professor, thanks for jumping at the end. It's always good to have you on. You seem like you're good at those interruptions in the middle of
that's what I figure. If I'm going to use the podcast to get credentials to places, for the audience, I got to go to the TNA show using the Off the Ropes credentials.
You're
at least
welcome.
The next time they put
welcome.
one on there, if you say Professor Diggs is actually there, I should be there. So here I am.
That's true. We're going to try to get together here in a few weeks after these shows and recap and see the goods and bads about them. So hopefully you'll be able to join us. And Jeremy, thanks for joining us tonight. Your first show. What'd you think about the experience of joining the Off the Ropes crew?
It's a lot of fun. I was excited to get to jump on, and like I said, it's my son was jealous that he's not here tonight, spending the night with a friend, because I told him I was coming to talk about wrestling, and he was like, "What?" So he's staying the night with Grandma and Grandpa. But it's been a lot of fun just to kind of catch back into that WWE cycle again and get back on the thing and just enjoy watching it through his eyes. And so,
well, and the last Jeremy, the Professor ran off. We haven't seen Hubbard since Diggs and Hubbard got at it the last time, I think. So I think Coach has went to the Ranger game tonight. I think that was where he was. But it's always good to have, and we haven't seen Swaggy in a while. He's been busy, so maybe we can get the panel together more often here over the next couple months.
Coach, at least Coach got a good night tonight. I checked out that Ranger score. It was a good night for all involved. So We love you, Coach. Come back soon. I got a screwdriver to knock you out with.
On that note, that's going to do it for tonight's episode of Off the Ropes. We'll be back here in a few weeks to review some of the wrestling. We've got AEW All In, Evolution. We got Saturday night main event, and lots more to talk about. So for Mr. Nedison, Brett Sweeney, Dirt Sheet Brandon, Jeremy Diamond, Professor Diggs, and the Big Goose KO Kyle Owens signing off. We'll see you next time right here on Off the Ropes. Good night, everybody.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa! And my father said, when I was younger, hard time free better man. You took it all away, I give it all away. You take my freedom, didn't change the game, a better man to play. I built my kingdom, now you bow to me. You took my dreams but not my name. You're what they came to see. Hear the crowd on the toes, ready for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa! And my father said, when I was younger, hard times remember me. You took it all away, I give it all away. To take my freedom, here to change the game, a better man to play. I built my kingdom, now you bow to me. You took my dreams, but not my